going late. We're starting late. We're going late.
We're on, I believe. I think we're there.
Welcome back.
Hello, everybody. If you're really there, we're having major computer problems. So if we cut out, whatever.
You know, we've been asking for a tech person for a while.
Welcome
we need
to
a tech person.
It's because I'm here. That's why the equipment's failing.
I guess I'll do it. I can't get a hold of you on your phone.
What's going on? Are we frozen again? There we are.
Oh, man.
Let's see if it does it.
All right.
Are we able to move? There is a little lag, I noticed. It's interesting.
Way bit of a lag, is it?
Yeah.
Right.
I just hope we don't freeze like it was doing and we just cut right out. It kind of sucks.
Right.
We should be on. All right.
Well, I don't know then.
Well, we got a guest today. What's our guest name?
Dave Sutton on the Outhouse Podcast.
What's up, y'all?
Laugh Master General. What is up?
Nothing
Dave?
much, man. What's been happening?
Nothing. Just been working.
Really?
Do you guys work directly together?
Yeah, it's
Pretty much.
I mean, he has been hyping you for a few weeks now.
Right.
Wait till this guy gets in here.
I've seen today, he said, I'm a comedian. I'm like, what the hell are you telling everybody I'm a comedian for?
Because you're funny, mother.
Yeah, that's right. Let's get that jar up.
Oh, I don't even have my
so everybody
quarters
can
with
see
me.
it.
Well.
No quarters. That means it's going to be a
I'll have to run
profane,
and go get them, I guess.
free show. Let's see how long you can go before dropping a major F-bomb.
So we're good as long as we don't do the F word?
Yeah, that's it. That's
All
all that
right.
goes in there. But, you know,
You can
you're
say any
denying
kind of other
charity.
shit and whatever.
Well,
Yeah,
that's great.
I say shit quite a bit.
Yeah.
And whatnot.
That's right.
Oh,
I'll tell you what.
What?
our questions are over there.
Yeah, grab them. Go ahead. I dipped out last time to get coffee, so
Yeah.
and we may
They're right
glitch
there.
out in a moment,
behind that
so
computer
you
in
never
that
know.
folder.
Right?
Right by the headphones.
It is
underneath them.
annoying. It's been annoying. It's been a big annoyance for the bands. And everybody's been real professional that's come through when it's happened.
There's somebody. There's Gary, I'm assuming. What happened to the chat box?
That's me.
Oh,
Well,
there was a chat box there.
Well, our view has
Oh,
changed
it's
a number of times. What we see in front of us and what we see like to the sides, it's all different every time.
You know what? We didn't revise. You know, we was going to do...
Well,
Wow.
I remember the originals.
What we was going to say is the views and opinions expressed by individuals in the following program, including ourselves, are not necessarily reflected of those of the Outhouse Podcast or its affiliates.
Boom.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Shaka
We're just
laka.
joking here.
Right.
Lighten up.
Yeah.
So-
It's all jokes. It's for entertainment purposes only.
We go to the outhouse.
throughout the night, you may hear me joke about
unload
my
brain
past drug
constipation.
addiction and everything. I'm not dogging anybody that's still using it, and I'm not trying to push anybody to use again, just so everybody's aware. These are my experiences, just funny things that have happened to me.
Well, let's jump in because we're going to get into some exciting stuff. So the common thread that we have through all of this stuff is music. And
Right.
that's the question that we always ask. The first question is like, when did you discover the music? Like what age and like what was it?
For me, I would have to say I was as far back as I can remember. I was probably around 5, and I'd have to say Ozzy and AC/DC.
Which Ozzy?
See, Bark of the Moon was popular then.
How about that at Clarkins? Remember Clarkins?
I used to
Shout
go there
out.
all the time.
Are there any
My
Clarkins left?
grandparents, up here where the Walmart is,
Yeah,
they
right.
used to have the wall
The
with
Four
the little
Hills.
angles and the little
Shout
horsey
out
things.
if there's still a
Because if anybody from this area knows that they went to Clarkins, they know they had the little wall with the little carnival horses. What
That's
they call
right.
them? The merry-go-round horses. That was bricks. They was in the bricks.
It was beautiful. That was my favorite thing at the holidays, man, was
The
when we go
bricks.
toy shopping, you know. Pick out what we wanted for Christmas at Clarkins.
Right.
Where's our chat box?
But I bought
at?
that there. I bought Bark at the Moon there, and I bought Fly on the
Can't
Wall,
see
which you
nobody.
mentioned out there. It made me laugh, man. Like, those
Yeah.
two albums were...
Fly on the Wall was
Yeah.
big back then.
Good luck finding that vinyl, too, is what I started to say, because, like, I collect records and deal records, and you always find Back in Black, like you said.
Right.
And Dirty Deeds, too.
Right.
That means they sold a lot of them.
Right.
High Voltage. They must have sold 1 million of that one, because I find that one a lot. Right. And A Highway to Hell has to be their bestseller, because I find way more of that album than any other.
Yeah. back then everything was vinyl. Like I remember the first time I heard Metallica. It was vinyl.
What was it?
It's the album with Battery.
Master of Puppets.
Master of Puppets. There you go.
Man. Yeah, that's a great album too.
Yeah.
And, you know, in the wild, I've only ever found that album in the wild once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one time. That's a hard one to find too. It sells for like $40 now.
I'm
It's
sure
crazy
it does.
to me.
Yeah.
But I love vinyl, old vinyl. I really do. Do you still have your records?
No, everything's converted over to digital now.
Digital.
So,
See, you just lose something with that digital sound.
Yeah.
I still prefer LPs. You get the highs. You get that high that you just don't get with digital sound.
Yeah, earlier we were talking about LPs. One of the first LPs I got was Quiet Riots, Mental Health. I remember that as a kid.
I don't even have my reading glasses, dude. So, you know, and like I said, it's a celebration for me tonight. My divorce went through yesterday.
Bitches.
Child support's done. I really wish I could be drinking whiskey in this coffee cup tonight, you know, but that's not going to happen.
Coffee.
That's right. And
Roy, then.
This guy is also like a really good impressionist too. So, like, were you ever in like theater or anything like that in high school or?
Nah, just.
Oh man, look at that, and that's my
Just-
flavor too, man.
Just a clown, man. Just clown around, you know, all in good
He's a
fun.
class clown. Oh, you know, that's a great. That's a great
probably shouldn't.
bottle of stuff right there. You know, I got really screwed
Showing
up
the
the last
label,
time I
but-
drank that. It was with you too.
Yeah, I gotta stay away from that.
Well, you do.
Back in the day,
It's all me, huh?
that crown. I'll tell you what. A couple of shots of that back in the day, and I'd be like, "Come back here! I'll tell you something I don't like about your mother." Your mama.
That's right. I like that Cinderella shirt you got on tonight, man. That's awesome.
That's from the actual show, boy.
Yeah, look, he come home, get all cleaned up. I'm still in work clothes.
I'm in work clothes. What you talking about?
Now, what do you do out there, Tom? You?
We get paid to fuck off. I mean, oops. I'm gonna have to go get quarters.
Back in Black ranks number 2. Back in Black is the best-selling rock album of all time with over 50 million copies.
Boom.
Yeah, wow.
There you go. That was a huge album. I
Yes.
didn't even really
I hate
know
to leave the set, but there's no way I'm gonna be able to go through this without paying.
about them really that well at that point. I remember I heard John Cougar, Jack and Diane, and then
Michael Jackson's probably number 1. Really?
I would think Thriller, yeah.
Or is it
Well,
Dark Side of the Moon?
Could be that. Born in the USA.
Oh,
That album was huge too. Dire
Oh,
Straits, Brothers in Arms, Money for Nothing, that song. That was another huge one. You couldn't escape it. It was everywhere. Every time you turned MTV on, that damn thing was
Right.
on.
MTV used to kill that one song back then too. What was it?
Everything.
No, it was.
Video killed the radio star.
It was. Well, that was the first video, but no, this was It was like a
We Can
funk
Dance.
Motown time.
We
No,
Can
not
Dance.
that one. How to like I'm gonna rock on down to Electric Avenue.
Oh, Eddie Grant.
Ed Grant. That's who it
Yeah,
was.
that's a good one.
Yeah, that was like one of the. They played that one to death.
Down
They definitely
to
played the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Electric
Yeah.
Avenue.
Yeah.
We're gonna rock
And
down
we'll
to.
take it higher.
Right.
That's a good one. That's a good one. And what do you do out there?
Well,
Just F off too?
pretty much. Mondays I work counter.
He
and
does flute repair.
then- I do.
Do you
All
really?
the.
Is that
I
what you
do
do?
No, he
instrument
really does.
repair. Yeah.
Instrument repair.
Instrument repair.
All
I do the
instruments?
guitar repairs, and he does the.
He
brass
does
and the
guitar, and I
electric.
do the brass
Now,
woodwind.
do you play any of those instruments that you repair?
Not that I would claim.
No?
I play them all before they leave to make sure that they're fixed.
Right.
If I can't play it, I have somebody come in and do it for me.
Right.
Like I'll get on the sax and squawk it out a little bit, but
I always wanted to play that. My son plays.
I have a local guy come in. Matt Corey comes in and tests all of our sax for us, and we make sure everybody's squared away.
Drop your mic down just a touch. You're all hidden from the camera.
Well, I just want to make sure this time
that's
because
fair.
I have a tendency to turn my head when I'm talking to everybody, and I noticed when on the playback I just cut out a lot.
Playback.
Man.
So about 2 months ago, we was in there and we was all standing at the counter bullshitting.
Oh shit!
And this was like literally hours after Dave went out and cleaned the windows coming in the store. And when you walk in the store, there's like this glass on the left, and then there's a glass door. This dude come walking in, full stride, open the door, turn left, BAM! Crack right into the window. It left his lip imprints and his nose imprints.
On the glass.
On the glass.
Oh.
I seen the whole thing.
Dude, it reminded me of like
man.
Bugs Bunny and a mosquito hitting the window. It was like, whack!
That shit was so funny, dude. He was like, pow! And he was like, oh. And what's really weird is we have a bunch of stand cases. Like,
How did you not see that?
Basically jump over them to go through where you thought you was going to go through.
Right.
That
He was
shit
all like,
so funny,
Who
dude.
cleaned that window? Kicked their ass for me.
Give him a raise. He's doing a good job.
That's pretty cool, the number of musicians that you guys get to meet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean local, but
Got a few, like,
there's a lot of people.
Joe Vitale stops in them.
Yeah. I've actually, Joe's group, Vinyl Machine, has practiced there at the studio, and I got to work a show with Joe
Really?
up
Yeah.
at,
You should try to
Up
get
in
him to
Akron.
come down and play at the Coop.
He might.
he might.
Put a word out.
Yeah.
He might do that. We get our shit together.
Yeah.
Well, and we're working on that. Well, we're not whoring ourselves out for monetization like everyone else. We're
Right.
doing it just because we love doing
We
it.
love it.
That's right. And it's a pain
We
in
do
the
it
ass
just because we love being
we're
whores.
constrained
dirty
by
whores.
just what we have available, you know. And if anybody's got any, equipment that's just sitting around gathering dust, send it our way. Especially cameras. We need cameras.
Oh man. So since I started working there, me and Tom have done some pretty crazy shit. We messed with some of the other employees and stuff.
I can't imagine. It's got to be pretty crazy because some of the shit he's told me, man.
Let me see that light.
I can only imagine what some of the customers must think when they walk in there and hear us talking, because we go
I can
way
only-
off left to center
I can
sometimes.
only imagine what we think when some of those customers walk in.
Right. Like, oh shit, did you hear that?
right. Uh-oh.
It's weird because it's almost like a pawn shop. People walk in there with the craziest shit to
And-
sell you and questions. They call you up. Excuse me, do you sell instruments?
Yeah.
Sure.
It's a music store. You got
Yeah.
a couple.
Or the big one is, do you guys sell records or buy records?
Or Tom's favorite. 4 minutes till 5, the phone rings. He says, Gattuso's, and they're like, I got a question for you.
Man. Whenever they do that, you should send them my way. When they got records. If they, ask them if they're good records, Find out if they're good or not. And then send them my
Usually
way.
not.
I love jazz. I love the old jazz blue note stuff. I love finding it in the wild. That's some of my favorite because I actually play it. I don't just send it out on the internet to the next, place. I enjoy it a little bit and then I let it go. It's the thrill of the chase. So you're not from Canton originally. Where are you from?
I'm from Colorado, a little town called Leadville,
What's the nearest major city?
Denver.
So-
Well, yeah.
Have you been out there to that airport, they say, where it's all spooky town? They say there's underground shit got there, like all kinds of weird artwork and stuff on the walls. And
I'm sure it probably is.
yeah, some big airport. I don't know which one it is. I know
I
it's out
thought
there.
that was the one Atlanta's though, not Denver.
No, Atlanta's just a really big one. It's like a big interchange. Like
Maybe it
everybody
was
lands
Denver.
there to go
But I
over
know what
there.
you're talking about. Yeah, they supposedly got a whole
It's not like O'Hare.
thing underneath of it and shit.
Yeah. Well, he's from
Did-
there. I never
did-
heard of it, so maybe it's
Yeah.
bunk.
And didn't you say that they filmed that one movie?
The Shining out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And actually, my
Kubrick,
hometown,
that's one of Kubrick's greatest. by
the movie Dumber and Dumber,
the way.
where they're riding on the mini bike
That's what I was
freezing.
talking
You're
about.
right.
That's my hometown right there.
Oh wow. It's one of the best parts of the movie.
Right.
Ah, just go. That's pretty awful if you're just gonna go.
Right.
Just go, baby.
So, your old man plays guitar, right?
He's learning. He's learning how to
Now,
play
was
now.
you the first one to play instrument, or did you get
Uh,
handed down the gift, or how'd that work?
No, the way my brother played. He didn't play guitar, but he played in in band in high school. I think he played trombone when I was real little. But as he got into high school, they had a band that would practice in our basement, and it was pretty cool. They did a lot of the older stuff like Steve Miller
Yeah.
and things of that nature.
Abracadabra. I love abracadabra.
So like our basement, we always had full setup because that's where they practice. So I always had access to drums, guitars,
Nice. That's awesome. I had a couple buddies that were older brothers had drums, man.
Did you touch my drum?
Right.
I know you touched my drumstick because it's got a nick.
It's got a nick.
Don't get caught. Don't get caught. Who the hell beat these toms up? Eddie? I like to play loud. Sorry.
On Step Brothers. Did you ever see
He's like, "Did you touch my drum set?" He's
right.
like, "No."
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, "Why are you sweating so bad?" He's like, "I'm watching cops."
Watching co-ops.
Oh man. Now, were you in the band at school?
No, I was not. Actually, in school, I didn't do anything musical in school. Actually, I've played. So I started probably playing seriously when I was about 8. I got my first electric from a buddy of mine actually in Colorado, and old Larry Sparkman hooked me up with an axe, and it kind of took off from there.
Nice. South Park.
Yeah, which is funny because, honest to God, the elementary school I went to was West Park.
Oh man, that's why you did that voice so good.
Right.
Drive here.
Yeah.
There's a South Park up there in Garrettsville. It's a little allotment.
Well, he's a mimic because on the way here he did like 10 voices, man. I was laughing. I was like, we're gonna have to play the impersonation game at some point. And just see how many he really knows. See how many we can run him
Do
through.
the English one all the time. It what
Right.
we do.
Oh man, I hear that all the time here.
What was that?
What?
Joke you something about the butthole the other day? That was funny as hell.
Oh, I was telling Tom I'm gonna get me a new tattoo, man. I'm gonna get an M on each ass cheek, so when I bend over, it says "Mom."
Oh god.
Hey, but just think, dude, when I'm sunbathing, if I lay on my back, it'll say "Wow."
Oh, it was an airy one.
Right. The old chili ring, eh?
So what year did you graduate?
I should have graduated in '91. I actually ended up getting a GED.
Wow. So we are the same age. I graduated in '92.
Yeah, I should have graduated from
90.
Kenmore. Senior year, my first wife, she was pregnant.
Oh wow.
And she
Had to
didn't
be
want
an
to
adult early.
She didn't want to eat school lunch, so we left and went down to Kenmore Boulevard to Little Caesars. And when we got back to school grounds, the principal was like, "You know what, Sutton? Had enough of your shenanigans. You're gone." I said, "All right then."
That's it. I'm out.
Right.
What did you do after school?
Actually, shortly about a day after, I got a job. Started working, man.
What did you do?
Actually, I started off turning a wrench. I turned a wrench for several years. I worked at a couple different car dealerships and started off little mom and pop place out in Barberton. Actually helped get me started. Roger Black was his name. Barberton Spring Radiator and Transmission.
Why does it say waiting?
Or we could let you, please say no. I see warning.
I know, but I don't.
That's normal. Honestly, I don't know.
'Cause you're on the
Don't
wrong
know.
one.
Oh,
Because you broke it, you
Thank God.
twit.
Go back to
Man, what are you
I just wanted
doing?
to make
Interrupting
sure
the
shit was
flow.
right.
It's like
God.
stopping the stream when you're taking a good leak.
All right.
What the fuck
Man,
you doing?
what
Oh,
are you doing?
no.
Throw a quarter in there for your guest.
I need to borrow a
Damn it.
quarter.
There you go. That one's allowed. You'd have to throw one for that one. Shit.
Son of a.
Yeah.
So you were turning the wrench?
Yeah, I turned the wrench for a while. When I got to be a little older after my first daughter was born,
How many kids do you have?
I have four kids total. I got 2 boys, 2 girls. 2 are from my first marriage. My other 2 are from my marriage that I'm in now. So,
How long y'all been married?
oh God, I think we're going on 5 years married now. We've been together though 16 years. So we've been together a minute, long enough her kids call me dad. You know what I mean?
Right.
Been-
So
been blessed on the kids side.
you
Can't lie.
a wild man is what you've been billed as.
Yeah.
So when did you start getting wild?
Okay. Well, about the same time I started listening to AC/DC, believe it or not. And this God's honest truth. At the time, I was probably, maybe 8, maybe 9 years old. My mother got cancer and she was, hospitalized. So my dad was in Denver with Mom all the time, which left me and my brother to be basically looked after by our sister, which was about to be 18. So once Dad wasn't at the house all the time,
all hell broke loose.
I kind of tagged with my older brother. And, by the time before I was in first grade, I was skipping school, drinking MD 2020 all day.
Oh, wow, man. So you weren't a good student, I'm guessing.
No. Well, some classes. We'll get into that later. Certain classes I excelled in.
Really? Like what?
A little bit of chemistry.
Okay.
And
we're coming up on that part. Okay, I got you. Now I got you. Okay, now I got you.
But yeah, I mean, I can remember being that young, and my brother Robert had a 6-foot-tall graphics water bomb.
Oh, man.
And I used to have to stand on the love seat while he lit it and worked the slide for me.
And how old were you?
Oh, I was probably 7 or 8.
Oh, wow.
Worked
That's
as
an
him
early
full
introduction.
Well, sneaking out the
the
window at night with my brother and taking my mom and dad's car and push it out of the driveway and take off down the
old
street.
school, right?
Yeah. Skipping school,
We couldn't do that because our parents had junk. Wasn't no sneaking that shit out.
Oh, man. Not my mom and... Oh, no.
Plus, you couldn't sneak out of our house, although Larry did it once.
I had
That's
cursed.
a whole nother story there. but-
Hey, I got
in
one.
the house.
Hey, check this out. High school years, Kenmore High School, right? We lived on Chester Avenue there behind Ennis, the middle school there in Kenmore. So I'm in my bedroom. It's about, 7:30, 8 o'clock. And I'm bored as fuck. I'm grounded. I'm like, fuck.
Hey, quarter.
Had some acid. I had a hit of Bart Simpson, Blotter.
Oh, man.
And I was going to save it. So what did Dave do? Dave decides to eat some acid while he's by himself in the attic.
Oh,
man.
boy.
How old were you?
Oh, I was in high school by this time, but tripping balls, man. 3 stories up. Can't leave because I'm grounded, right? So I'm like, okay. Right.
Right.
So-
you checked out.
Here's what happened. So I hang out the attic window. I'm hanging. There's no roof or nothing underneath
Oh,
me.
man.
Oh, shit.
The concrete driveway.
Oh, man, that hurts the ankles.
So I let go, boom, hit the ground, and believe it or not, I was all right. I was like, what am I gonna? I said fudge. I
Okay.
said
Man,
fudge.
it's like Spider-Man.
I was like,
I'm the only one that ever brings quarters
So-
to this show.
I walked down to
I don't
Nesmith
drop the
Lake,
F-bomb.
King Apartments. My first wife lived in King Apartments, man. So I knock on her window. She opens it. It's about 11:30 at night. She's like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "I need a cigarette and some orange juice." But yeah, so I started partying way early. About the same time I started smoking weed was the first time I did shrooms. That was quite the adventure.
I always
Older
liked
brother.
shrooms.
Oh look, man, we used to
Shrooms
play that.
seemed like
You ever
less
play that
intense
knockout game
acid.
when you were younger?
Yep.
And you hold your
Yeah.
breath.
Oh,
That came back a few
Everybody
All
years ago.
shroomed out doing that with my brother, right?
Oh, boy.
Hyperventilating, right?
He pushes me up against the wall, knocks me out.
Scary stuff happens with that one.
So I fall out. I wake up, and he's there with them like desk lamps. He's got one peak plugged in, shining in my face. Who are you? What's your name?
Oh,
I come
right.
to. I'm like, oh shit.
That's a head trip right
Right.
there, man.
It was.
Wow.
That one was a good one.
Wow. I had a buddy I did that too, and he went down for about 3 minutes. And I was literally, I had the phone in hand, and I kept threatening him, I'm calling 911, dude, until I was waiting for him to answer me, because it really freaked me out. 3
Oh,
minutes is a
that's-
long time to be non-responsive.
Right.
I thought I killed my friend, you know what I mean? I was really
Well, it's
shitting
really not a
bricks.
long time, but when you're tripping balls, it seems like an
Shitting bricks.
eternity.
Well, I wasn't tripping. I was straight, but
Yeah,
man,
no,
yeah,
man,
right.
It's like he
Yeah.
says, you think you killed somebody,
Right.
boy, that scared the
Oh
shit out
man,
you.
dude, it was heavy.
We
That
did
was a heavy
dumb
one.
shit too, same thing, It's like, Surprised we didn't die. From
I
that
think
dumb
my
Right.
oldest did because he went to a party, and as a father, you want to be the cool dad on one hand, but you want to be a good dad too. And he was a freshman, and there were going to be a lot of seniors there, and it was at a really nice house over there in Louisville where he went to school. And I said, "All right, what time is this party?" 2 a.m. I mean, last call, the party's starting, and the parents are okay with this. Well, yeah, they're the ones throwing it. All right, I'm driving you there, and I'm picking you up at daybreak, like we agreed. Fine. If anything happens, I'm going to tan your ass, boy. And he was like, I know, Dad, I'll be good. I promise. I won't make you look a fool. Okay, great. I drop him off. Maybe an hour and a half goes by, and my wife that I just split up with said, hey, the kid just called, and he was afraid to tell you he's on his way to the ER with his mother. I think they were playing that game. He ended up having to get stitches in his head.
Damn.
Some older kids were it was all over the internet, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I specifically made it a point to tell him, dumbass, don't do this.
Right.
Probably gave him the idea.
Yeah, we used to get tore up, man, and have pellet gun wars.
Oh, man,
we did
yeah.
that stupid shit too.
Apple
My older
wars.
brother would be like, "Oh, only one pup, okay." He turned his back. I'd be like,
Yeah, right, exactly. Exactly.
Remember when you shut me down, you son of a bitch?
Then he turns around with a Roman candle. Run.
Oh yeah, we used to do that too. Hey, look, the best part, our dad was a gunsmith. So growing up, we had access
Powder.
to pounds
Oh,
and pounds of black
man.
powder.
Boy.
Right.
Take an M80 fuse and a 1 can pound.
Oh my God, I've done that.
Take a roll of duct
Duct
tape,
tape, yep.
wrap it around there, and
Sounds
stick
like
that
a-
M80 fuse in there.
Oh shit.
We were blowing craters in our
Wow.
backyard.
Holy
I've done
cow.
that. It sounds like a bomb literally going off.
Mhm.
I had great respect for fireworks after we were sticking firecrackers in apples, and like a dumbass, I was
An
throwing them.
apple.
And when it got back to here, it exploded.
Oh.
But thank God I was holding it kind of open, because if I'd have had it closed, it probably blown my hand out, I didn't get anything. I had a little powder burn, but it scared the hell out of me. I don't throw firecrackers anymore.
Did you say you have brothers and shit?
I got two. Well, I had a sister that passed that was biological, and I got a brother named Robert that's biological, and then I have a stepbrother and a stepsister as well.
Did you grow up with them?
Not the stepbrother and stepsister. No.
So there wasn't too much sibling rivalry. In the
Well, my first stepbrother. Let me
The
take
way
that
he
back.
laughed right there, he remembered something.
Yeah. So the first marriage my dad had after my mom passed, the lady, she was a great woman, but her little boy had to have everything identical to what I had. So I didn't know whose bike was whose bike, and he was a little, at the time, whiny. I was on that upper adult stuff by that time
Right,
already, and he
right.
was still
He was an annoying little
right,
brother.
and he had to tag with me, and
Right.
I was horrible to that poor kid, man.
Right.
Let the air out of his tires so he couldn't follow me and shit.
I played that game too, though.
Yeah,
That's,
I did it
that's
to
a
my
good one.
sister.
Yeah, because it gets annoying,
Uh-huh.
You want to be cool, and you got this little shithead running around
Right.
behind you. Hey, let's play He-Man.
Right. Go away, kid. You bothering me,
Go
huh?
get.
He's like, but we're the same age.
You still bother me. Get.
Now, you said that, you got into the meth pretty heavy. When did that start?
Oh, well, actually, before the meth, it was cocaine. I
So,
sold
right. We were that
sold
age.
powder cocaine for years.
How'd that get started for you? Was it for, do you remember the
first
first
time
time?
no. First time I did cocaine, I was probably 13 years old.
Wow.
He's hanging out with John Sheets.
And
That's that guy Larry used to party with, right? Back in third
Yeah,
grade.
but
Man, cherry popping.
like I said, when my mom passed,
That was a joke.
I was the only
think.
child still. I was the baby of the family.
Right.
So I ended up going from family member to stay. Well, the first person I went to stay with was my sister. And at the time, hell, she was maybe 21, 22. And she was doing her partying and carrying on, and I had access to,
The shit. huh?
them kind of connections and them
And
kind
that
of
was
folks.
in what? What year was that? That was the 80s, right?
Oh yeah, I would have had to been
The roaring cocaine.
I
80s.
believe my mom passed away in '81, so
That's
you're
when they had
talking
the good
probably.
shit.
Right. The
85.
1980s were just a snowstorm.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Look, I can remember. Honestly, I remember getting the ounces.
I hear the stories.
And you could take a razor blade, and when you would cut it, the shit would have a yellow tint to it. But when you would cut it, it wouldn't powder. It'd fall like you were slicing bread.
Jesus.
And
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And then, I mean, I sold powder cocaine for years. Never got in trouble for that.
Is
And
it
I'm
true
not
it
promoting that by any means.
is
And
it
I'm not
true-
asking anybody to use. I myself am clean now. So
Is it true it changes your hands' colors from handling it so much?
I never really, to be honest with you, I never paid attention to any of that. I don't know, when you
Change the color of my snot.
when you deal in that and that specific narcotic or any
Or as
kind
a
of
party.
speed, not only is it a party, but it just attracts a different breed of people. You don't think about
Sure.
shit like that.
Right.
What kind of people? Who'd you hang out with when you were Joe Cocaine?
Well, a lot of them have been close friends for years,
Right.
and like, well,
not,
how
by, not by name, but by trade. Like what kind of trade? Like what kind of strippers? Was it a lot of strippers? 'Cause I heard
well,
it's a lot of
it's
strippers.
funny-
Man.
funny you say
I
that.
heard like you got to kick them out of your house after 3 days.
My first wife was a stripper. Yeah.
Strippers are fun. I worked
Yeah,
at
you
Christie's
did-
for a year.
You-
Shout out.
Hey, you know what strippers and peanut butter have in common?
What?
They both spread for bread.
Wow, that is very true, sir. That is very true.
And it's outrageous still to this day. You know, you go to any titty bar in the world, and the lady could be 45 years old, but she's just dancing to get through college.
Yeah, right. That was my favorite. That was my favorite when the DJ would say that. Let's welcome to the stage Brittany.
Yeah.
Brittany's putting 3 kids through college. And Brittany's like 21, you know?
Right.
That always used to crack me up. Brittany likes mushroom head.
Right.
Yeah.
Typo negative.
Oh, man.
Tattoo on her stomach with an arrow pointing down that says Boner Garage.
Yeah, right. He's been there.
Park
He's
here.
been there. He's been, my first night on the job, my brother, I went in to kind of protect him because the mafia does run a lot of that. And I was getting shown the club. I was already in. This is my job now. And he goes, and this is the kitchen. And we go in the kitchen, and this stripper has a butcher knife about this big, threatening the chef with it. And I had to grab her by the wrist so they could take the knife from her. It was crazy. That was my first, 6 minutes in the club,
hello.
man.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, right.
It was interesting.
So, were you dealing or were you in the manufacturing end? Because when we were talking about the meth before the show, you were saying that you were more in.
Well, when it came to the meth, when it came to the cocaine, I was dealing. But, yeah. 2 a.m, people be, come on, man.
yeah.
I just need 25. I'd be like, fuck you. If you're not spending 200, I'm not getting out of bed. But
Yeah, you said you did that before that. So did you follow the cardinal rule of don't get high on your own supply, or were you wired?
to be
for sound
honest
all
with
the
you,
time?
I was wired for sound all the time because I was making so much money so fast.
Oh yeah,
that it didn't matter.
Right,
Like-
the same way the strippers do.
I would still have probably 2 ounces left and had already paid for the 4 that were dropped off. Wow. So I was always ahead. But
Now,
like
when you say
I
you
was
were-
like probably the worst dealer ever because like my friends would be like, "Oh, come on, man, let me get some shit till payday." And I'd just be like, "Here, fuck it. Here, just take it."
you
You
just
know what I
give
mean?
it to 'em.
Yeah. Or
They're
I
on
had
his
I
finger.
did this one a couple of times for real. I done
How
this
much
one.
would you give them? Like an 8 ball?
At work, look, I was the manager of a certain mechanic. I was a manager of a certain auto repair place,
Okay.
and the employee restroom, we were all guys. I'd go in there and dump an 8-ball on the back of the toilet and be like, "Have at her, boys.
Oh my
Just do you." You know what I mean? And all day long we'd stay.
That's why they get them oil changes in and out so
Right,
fast.
right. That's right. 9 minutes.
But like
9 minutes.
like there was times like
high fiving
my-
each other.
I can recall one time my ex-wife had a girlfriend that came over and she got an 8-ball off me.
Right.
And like 2 days later, she called wanting to borrow money because they shut her electric off and she didn't have no diapers for her kid.
Oh,
So
man.
I ended
that
up
shit.
going back over there and here's your money back. Get your electric
Right.
on. You know what I mean?
Right.
And look, man.
That shit sucks too, because you know it ain't the kids.
You know, you are kind of a pharmacist.
Well, look, I did my dirt. I ain't gonna lie, and I made my money.
Right.
And I was shitty to some people. Don't get me
Right.
wrong. Like there was a couple folks that, oh, hey, can you bring me this? And I'd get it there, and then they'd
All right.
start doing it.
Okay, so how many groupies did you have? We always ask that groupie question.
Well,
Is there a number?
Because
Because I heard that a lot of times. Well, I don't have any money, Dave.
no, I never did that.
But look, my panties are blue.
I never
That's your
did
favorite
that. Not to say that it
color.
wasn't offered, because like they'd show up to the house to purchase,
Right.
and they'd have on see-through shirts with no
of
bras.
course.
But the stripper I was married to, I never had to worry about that.
So
She always brought women
brought
home
friends
for
home.
us.
Right.
So
So you were living the life, baby.
right.
I don't know.
I had
it's
a couple-
like keeping plates spinning, man.
Yeah,
you
I
think
had-
one's bad, get 2 or 3 in the same room. And
I
it's
had,
like, I'm out.
always had, I had some nice muscle cars. I had a 72 Chevelle, a 69
Nice.
Pontiac Firebird with 400 big
Hell
block.
yeah.
I did my thing. And then, like I said, there was people I helped out, and then there was other people that for example, I remember one time I delivered to somebody and they didn't want to pay, but they were doing it. And I basically is what they'd call turn that shit to carpet fresh. Whole teener on the floor. Like, fuck you. You ain't gonna pay me, you ain't gonna do it either. Deuces, I'm out. Screw you and your $120 of change.
So, like, what kind of quantity were you moving of
Yeah, nice.
Mine,
The El Camino.
72.
Should have put him a mic there. I thought he was going to work the
Uh,
camera. And the other one went out.
Well,
Stupid
you say
camera.
how long was
like whenever you were like really
every
dope
time I'd
cocaine,
up,
you
I'd get
know,
up to 4 ounces of powder.
4 ounces. Now,
4
how much is that? Like in money value?
Well,
Because I was never in that world.
32 8 balls.
and you figure I
That's
started
32 8 balls, and an 8 ball is like what, $200?
about the time it was around $200.
Wow, that's a lot, man.
Yeah,
That's
I
a lot
was-
of trust. So
I was going through that.
when you're dealing with that world and those people, were you ever like threatened?
No, I never
I mean,
had to
did
worry
you
about
ever
that.
f up and like not have the right amount of money or anything like that?
No,
where
I
you-
always paid up front. I started off small and worked my
Just
way
built
up to where I
yourself up.
was at. I never, you know what I mean? And
So when did it cross over to meth? Because you said, I mean, that's
Well,
what you really seem
to be honest with you, okay, so when it came to the methamphetamine, as I said, in certain things in school, I did pretty good. I was, when it came to chemicals and things of that nature, I was pretty good at doing what I did. Let's just put it that way. So it went from, I'd have to say, from the cocaine
You know they wrote Breaking Bad about him, right?
to
Breaking Bad.
from cocaine to pills. There for a while, I was doing a bunch of Xanax, Vicodin, Pertens,
right?
and alcohol. I used to drink. It was nothing for me to go to a bar on a Friday night and blow $500-600.
Man.
Easy.
That's crazy.
You
Well,
know,
it's easy to do when you got
Right.
what kind of money he's
Right.
talking about.
Right.
Oh yeah.
and you.
When you're Joe Cocaine, it's a whole other world, man. You
When it-
know?
Sure.
You're buying rounds for the bar.
Yeah, when it came to the methamphetamine, I actually seen somebody else do it once, and during the process, there's certain chemicals that you got to use. And
Game's in.
If you use too much of one in particular chemical,
Right.
it
We
does
don't
what
wanna
they call
mention it.
it does what they call locking it up. Well, the person I was watching was like, "Oh, this is garbage," and they walked away. Well, they didn't understand that the same chemical that locked it up would unlock it.
Right.
So I ended up taking over their batch, and it pretty much started from there.
And that was it. What year was that? Because I had two friends really get sucked into that world hard. Ruined one band actually when they were about to sign, I think, and
Well-
the other one was a real close friend.
I cooked probably for, I'd say 4 or 5 years, and
93,
I did
94.
get caught. I ended up going to prison, so and I mean, I did my time.
So how'd you get caught? Somebody snitch you out, or did you f up because you were just wired out and just screwed up somehow?
A little bit of both, but the thing is
Because like when you're cooking that stuff, you're absorbing it, right? The whole time.
Well,
it's coming into you while
yeah,
you're doing this stuff, right?
like we never wore no chemical mask or
Right,
respirators or nothing
right,
like
right.
that. It got to the point when I finally got arrested. I was to the point to where you use sulfuric acid in the process.
Well, it's a chemical spill when you're done. It's toxic, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
It was-
But from the guy that worked with me, I would hold the bottle while he'd pour the acid, and he'd pour the acid, and it'd get on my hand,
Right,
bare hand.
right,
I wouldn't even flinch.
right.
So my fingerprints were pretty much nil. They were, you know what I mean?
Right,
like
right.
I'd done it for so long that
Wow.
The police didn't like that,
That's
did they?
wild, man. I mean, I would
They,
be too
they took him
paranoid.
down to fingerprint him and couldn't do it. They was
Well,
pissed probably.
Whenever I was studying some of that Crowley stuff, I ran across Jack Parsons. You ever hear him? He's the one. He was a master chemist. He's the one his solid rocket fuel NASA still uses. So like he would taste all his chemicals though. When I
Yeah.
was reading about it,
Crazy
he was one of
son of
those
a bitch.
guys where it didn't matter if it said it was poison on the bottle.
Mhm.
He tasted everything, so he knew it on his palate. So if he smelled it, he'd know what it was immediately.
oh, I could still be
That's
walking down.
crazy.
I ain't done it in years. I've been clean probably 6, 7 years
And
now,
you could smell the house.
and I can walk down the street, and it takes as a whiff, and I can tell you, boop, right there.
Is it? And correct me if I'm wrong. Is it like the ammonia smell, like a cat pissy kind of
It
smell?
can be an ammonia smell. There's different stages of it.
Right.
You use, like I said, you use certain things. One of the things you happen to use is lithium. Lithium has a distinct smell.
Oh wow.
You
That's
can-
in batteries. That's so crazy.
Okay, well, we're not going to discuss that because I'm not giving out no recipes.
Yeah.
or
No.
anything
No.
yet.
No. 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 The toxicity of this
Right.
stuff can't be stressed enough.
Oh, yeah.
The
Well, the-
byproduct that's left behind after they get
And
their
it's a-
drug is just horrendous for the environment.
Well, it's not only for the
And these
environment,
people
then
are-
the people, then think we're putting it in our bodies.
Right. But that byproduct was just being dumped everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Out, and it's in the wild areas, which is sad because it does affect a large area in the long run.
Right.
And that's not even taken into account in that harsh moment of, hey, we got to get this money real quick. Let's get rid of that shit and go. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the mindset I would think.
And all those people doing it, like you said, shit.
Right. To
That's
meet
why
the
they're all
demand.
sunken in.
But then again, though, I don't know. It's been taken over so much south of the border. I've heard
Well,
a lot of people say
You
it's
know
law
how
enforcement
that
this.
whole ball got started? How all that got started? The whole methamphetamine.
Well, the biker element is what I always read.
The way that it got started actually was Hitler and the SS soldiers.
Right. Yeah.
He would dope his soldiers so they could stay out and awake for days, and
They
Yep.
doped
They-
their Olympians too.
they kept like a lozenger, I guess, that was with them all the time. But yeah, that's where it all originated from.
And Kennedy supposedly during that 13-day thing with Cuba was getting shots of it to stay awake. They said he was up for something like 12 days or 11 days.
That's crazy.
Look,
And he had
I-
to be thinking. He was the president.
I can tell you there
The
was
last real president.
many a times
Many people say.
that I'd go 3 weeks, and alls I would eat were sweet tart ropes and peanut butter filled M&Ms, man. And I'd sit in a lab
Here we are.
and just get fried.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's life.
Peanut butter.
How hard was it to
It's like
come
them
off
black
of all
chicks.
that?
They're
Like
thick
after
black
doing it
peanut
for
butter.
so long, like and
To be honest with you, I'm just gonna put it out there. For me, being arrested probably saved my life.
right, I could see that. 'Cause you wouldn't have probably quit otherwise.
Right.
You just
I
would've kept
mean,
going.
and for me, it was kick the habit dry.
So,
I mean,
like,
it wasn't going to give me nothing. I was in the county.
how did your arrest go? How did that go down? I mean, that's got to be a hell of a story.
Okay, so wake up in the morning. Well, probably afternoon. It was one of the
Right.
one of the
Same
few
thing.
times we actually slept. And I went to get a cup of coffee, and I heard something.
Oh man.
Pulled back the curtain, and there was about 15, 16 sheriffs with AR-15s and full body armor.
Oh man. Wow. Were you alone? Was it just you?
No, I wasn't alone. My wife, my now wife, was with me.
You said they busted the tank out on you too.
Yeah. When they handcuffed me and took me out front, they brought a legit tank with them, and
Wow.
yeah.
So they were ready for war,
They
man.
was about to do
Right.
the David
So how
Koresh.
heavy were you going whenever you got busted? What did they get you on?
Actually, that's a funny thing. That's where you asked if somebody ratted, da 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 da. They
Snitch.
didn't find any drugs.
They didn't find any drugs at all.
They ain't find any drugs. They found a couple spent labs, and my
You had
co-defendants.
paraphernalia, basically.
No, actually, what they found in mine was a water bong. I had a Denver Broncos water bong,
Oh man.
and they busted it, and I think
for
that's about
brass,
it.
though, you know?
Now, I mean, that's
But they were there for the meth.
yeah. Well, they not to say that there wasn't drugs there when they
Right.
got there.
But it wasn't what they were looking for.
Oh no, there was that there, but it just
No, the amounts they was looking for.
well, not even that. It became carpet fresh, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh,
Right.
So
okay.
you know
So-
what I mean. When they actually got in, there was nothing there. And
So what was it like getting processed? How
Uh,
scary was it?
was scary. That would have been the second time I was going for a ride.
better yet, what was the prison sex like?
That's funny.
Yeah, right.
Let me
right.
let me tell you something about
Is there
prison
an
sex.
etiquette to
Let
it,
me
you know?
tell you about prison sex. It
Or is
smells
it
like
just
shit.
raw dog?
Prison sex smells like shit. That's right.
Did they ever offer the condom, or is it just assumed it's going to be raw dog?
So this would have been this was my second number. My first number I had got when I was with my first wife. That was more of an alcohol-induced domestic situation.
Happens to the best of us.
But yeah,
Sometimes they just know the right thing to say at the absolute worst wrong time.
right,
Same as us. Same as us.
right.
So how long did you do?
3 years,
Oh wow, man!
day for day, mandatory time. There was no good days, nothing involved.
Wow, first time.
First time for drugs, yes.
What was the okay? What was the first time for you for reals? Your first time.
My first time was 10 months, and the facility I got sent to the first time was a lot harder than where I went the second time. Let's put it that way. My first number, I went to OSP in Youngstown, Ohio State Penitentiary.
That's
My
probably
second
not
number, I got involved in a program when I got to Lorraine in intake. It's basically like it's called therapeutic community, but it's like a rehab, basically.
right.
So what it is you're in a special dorm. Everybody that's in the dorm is in the program, all different charges. I mean,
Right.
it was more laid back, but the environment didn't change. For example, the guy that slept over here was in there for murdering his wife and the guy she was messing around with.
Oh shit.
And the guy that slept over here had a drug charge. But what it was they put us all in, but it was a program where basically you become accountable for what you did and for what you're doing. So,
Now, when I meant as far as being scared, like you said, you were wired for sound. You knew you were going to have to get clean. That's what I meant. Were you scared by
Well,
the prospect of having to
honestly,
clean your act up?
the first, really, I mean, like I was saying, the being arrested really made it, as far as getting clean, easier.
Right.
Because the first, while I was waiting in the county,
They don't give you drugs. They don't,
no,
they don't give you
I
nothing
slept.
for that.
I slept.
Slept it off.
Slept. I'd get up, give my food away, go back to bed.
Yeah, because you're not going to eat.
Yeah, right, I
'Cause
didn't
it
wanna
shrinks
eat.
that part of your brain, and some people it doesn't come back. They say.
Right. Yeah, I didn't want to eat, and then obviously I don't have a problem with that now.
Right. Man.
But
Nutritional
That's good.
overachiever.
right.
talking
Hey,
about
a body like this takes
pizza.
years of neglect and bacon, buddy. But and then once you leave there, once you're sentenced and you ride out, you go to Lorraine. And at Lorraine, they keep you in lockdown 23 out of the 24 hours of the day.
Oh man, you're grounded.
You get out to go, you got a bunk, celly, but you get to go out to eat at the chow hall, and then you go right back to lockup. They may let you out later for a shower or to use the phone, but other than that, you're in lockup all day.
How scary is that? Whenever you're,
Did
did you have a
Was
roommate?
it you by yourself, or did you?
No, you have a
roommate?
cellmate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that like? Were you buddies or was it friction?
My first number, my cellies were pretty cool. This last time, the guy was cool, but he had some mental health issues, and it made it a little rougher.
That'd be tough, man. I couldn't
You see
imagine
any-
that.
Crazy shit go down while you was in there.
Not this last time. The first place I went, the
Like
first
get shanked or anything like that?
OSP, there was crazy shit happening daily.
Right.
I mean, motherfuckers getting beat with socks and locks, like,
Yeah.
the combination
Oh,
locks.
yeah, right.
People getting teeth knocked out. There was one dude, they got these still urinals in there.
Mm-hmm.
And dude was standing there taking a piss, and somebody sucker punched him in the back of the head. And when he fell forward, it cut his ear off.
Oh.
Okay, he hit it on the side of that urinal and cut his ear off,
Man.
But my second number, this when I got caught for the meth, there was drama, but it wasn't. I mean, I think the whole time I was there, I might have seen maybe 3 fights.
Now, as it was coming up for you to get out, like the countdown, you're getting out. Was it that worry that I might not get out? Something's going to happen to keep me in here.
Well, no, really, the only thing that they had over me, I mean, the whole time I was down, I was clean.
Right.
And
And you didn't
I don't
fuck-
care what institution
said
you
it.
go to, it's easier to get any kind of dope in there than it is out
Oh,
there.
I'm
That's
sure.
what they say. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Because-
so I knew I was good when it came to my parole officer or whatnot, but I did have an outstanding warrant, but it's for traffic,
right.
and I knew they wasn't going to come all the way from where the warrant's from to here to get me. So no, I wasn't really. I was more worried about what the hell was I going to do because
Right.
I'm getting out, I'm broke, I have nothing. You know what I mean?
Right. That's brutal, man. That's brutal. And you got to carry that with you.
Yep.
So what did you do as soon as you got out? What was the first thing you did?
First thing I did was, my kids picked me up. First thing we did is we went to Walmart and I got me a cell phone. Reached out to a couple folks, got some clothes.
Got some,
Nice. Got some clothes. Got some threads.
Right.
got
And
some
then,
pajama bottoms.
no, actually, they gave me,
Nice
they gave
bright,
me,
bright orange.
right. Actually,
Dad,
actually, it
come
was-
on, those are orange.
it's a Hunter orange.
Ninja Turtles.
It's a Hunter orange jogging suit they give you. Thank you.
Hey, Dad, why are you sleeping in the dog's cage?
The fucked up thing about getting released from that bitch is this. Look,
They say there's
they'll
a
come and
smell.
wake you up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
You owe me
I owe
almost
you
$1
too.
now.
I slipped
Oh.
up somewhere.
So they tell you, they come tell you bunk and junk. Your family's coming and da da da.
Nobody brings quarters, folks. Just
So you
That's because Tom
Pack
has
all
the
your
worst
stuff up.
potty mouth, and he has to have a stack of them.
so they take you down there. They do what they call dress you out. They take you to processing. They process you. So they put me in this little ass holding cell. Reminded me of being back at county.
Oh.
Except in this holding cell,
bend over and cough.
there's that's a different story.
Oh, man.
Well, there was that one time in college, but I don't like to talk about.
Oh.
I didn't cough though.
Right. Old Dr. Longfinger. Anyway.
Oh,
Dr. Triple Knuckle.
oh, jeez.
I thought something was strange, dude. I felt
He keeps
two
saying
hands on
he's
my.
got arthritis.
I felt 2 hands on my shoulder. He was like, "Just
Oh,
relax."
Then I felt pressure. Then all of a sudden I felt pressure.
I really messed with their head. When he put his gloves on, I put my gloves on.
Right,
Nice and slow.
dude. I wish, like when I had to go have that scope done, I wish I was a ventriloquist. Could you imagine? Hey, get away from there! What the hell?
Right. That's good.
Dude's ass is talking to me.
Hey, you. What are you looking at?
Right.
Ventriloquist and reverb.
Right.
Echo.
Yeah, but it was, they put you in this holding cell, and I could literally, like, my kids were like from me to you. And you know, they made me sit in that room from 6 o'clock in the morning till about 2:30 in the afternoon before they said, okay, sign this piece of paper. Bzzzt, and I could walk out the gate. I'm like, are you kidding me?
They made you run it right to the minute.
Right.
To when your
Right.
release date
Oh,
was.
look.
Wow. Well,
Swore
that's,
that after 3 years I wasn't going to smoke. They had me so pissed off and aggravated by the time I left. The first thing I asked
Give
for
me a
was
cigarette.
Give me a Camel Wide. Damn it.
Drive a man to drink.
Right.
So, you know,
You remember the first thing you ate? Is the food really terrible in there?
Well, I really, to be honest with you, the whole time I was locked down, I didn't do chow hall food. If I did, they did fundraisers and things of that nature. So, like, I pretty much ate either
we got that
commissary
deer meat horse killed on the side of the road.
like the special foods that the cooks would make. You could, you know, it's prison. You can buy
Right.
anything in that mother.
Right. There's a
Yeah.
market.
Right.
He had
Wherever
Swiss
there's a want,
rolls.
it's going to get filled.
Right.
That's why drugs are so prevalent.
Right.
That want is alive.
And everything's a
well.
hustle in that bitch. There's guys cleaning shoes for money. There's guys.
He has Swiss
Tattoos.
rolls and
Yep.
Doritos.
Right, I did. Hell yeah.
Wow. And
Me and
people will
ramen
get-
had a very tight
and
relationship.
people will get their ass beat over that stuff.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure,
You
don't
know,
fuck with
that's
people.
Sure.
man in there.
Look, my first
Wow.
number is when Ohio first did away with tobacco in the joint.
Oh man, that had to suck.
And there was guys that were having the
Terrific.
trustees sneak in packs of cigarettes.
Right.
Well, they take that pack of cigarettes,
Break it down.
take one cigarette, and roll it into 3.
Oh man.
Oh, how much you want for a cigarette? $20.
Oh,
Oh wow.
yeah, because
Yeah,
that's it.
that's
you either
it.
buy that or you don't get shit.
Supply
Right.
and demand. Hard economics,
Ooh.
man. It is worth what someone's willing to pay. Wow.
Especially when you're in
Look.
there and you got the market cornered.
My last number, we're out on the yard one day. This little dude I used to run around with, he's like, hey, man, keep an eye out. I'm going to hit this Newport. I'm like, what the fuck? Where'd you get a Newport? You know what I mean? He had a tailor-made Newport. So he fires this thing up, and he's just a little dude. He couldn't have been no more than maybe 4 foot. 5
Everybody
foot.
in the yard was like, they smelled
Right.
it.
Smell
So
it.
he hits this cigarette a couple times. He hands it to me. I took 2 pulls off that cigarette, and I was so fucking lightheaded. Only thing I can think
Oh,
of is
they dipped it. in
my big ass is gonna fall out, and you're too little to carry me. Take
Oh
this.
man.
And so that was the only time I hit a cigarette while I was.
Oh, it was the real one. So
Yeah.
it was like, woo.
Yeah, I hadn't had one, and well, hell, it was close to time when I was getting ready to go home. So it had been over 3 years since I had.
Before that, did you smoke real heavy?
Well, yeah, that kind of goes hand in hand with the whole speeding and. I lived on Marlboros, sweet
Nice.
tart ropes, and M&Ms, bro.
Wow.
I'm not even exaggerating. Like my house would be full of food
I'm still on the Marlboros.
for, like, we'd go shop. Well, put it this way, we went shopping once in like 5 years, probably.
Oh man.
Still had the same frozen.
And by the
pizza.
time it was over, there was people coming over that would steal the fucking frozen food out of the freezer to go sell it.
Oh man. Right. That's so wild.
No,
dude.
I think I'll have a steak tonight. You open the freezer, you're like, what the fuck?
Right. That's pretty gnarly. Did you ever have any really crazy stories where people tried to get into your house over that stuff?
No, I never really had that problem. Everybody, I kind of always had that cut and dry, no nonsense type
You never had no
business.
Wild
I try to
children?
keep business and family separate.
Right.
You don't bring that shit to my house.
That's right.
You don't
bring it
come to
home.
you don't shit where
Don't
you
shit
eat.
where you eat.
Right.
Right.
And
That's right.
if you came to my house for such things, you're liable probably not to walk away, because I was
Yeah, it
dead
was a
serious about
separation.
protecting
You
mine.
can- oh,
You
sure,
know what I
right.
mean?
You gotta
Sure.
have that separation.
Right. You got to draw a line
Right.
somewhere.
I mean, honestly, when it came to the methamphetamine, it was a group.
Right.
It was always the same group. It
Right.
was I never dealt with nobody out. That's pretty much how I did the powder too, the cocaine.
Right.
Like if I didn't know you, fuck you.
Right.
I don't give a fuck who you're friends with. I don't know you. Fuck you. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. I always read, like Hunter Thompson and some of the other people, the biker element was real heavy in that end of it. Did you ever encounter that at all?
Well, certain aspects, certain parts of the country, like
Did you
growing
take-
up, there was a chapter of Hell's Angels that was
Right.
in my town that
Right.
they pretty much had the market cornered, but that was
Right.
before I ever got involved in that.
Right.
So at that point in time, I was still doing, the LSD, the shrooms, the weed, the
Right.
cocaine, and they were,
They
I
cornered that
hadn't
market.
hadn't even thought of even trying that shit.
Right. I remember when it came on, it was about 93. It had to be 93. We'd been out of school for about a year. And I remember we were in this little sleeping room, and he put this brown powder on the table, my buddy. We've been smoking weed for a while. And I don't know.
See, I never did that
I
shit.
said, bud, I said, if you let this dictate your life the way you let weed, I'm just going to break your arm. Because this is bad news. I can see it. And they were doing their little bumps, they called them.
Mm-hmm.
Back when we were doing the blow was around, it was rails, but now we're doing bumps. Clear the runways, fellas. But there was a big difference between those
That's a
two.
little better now, isn't it?
The white stuff was a little more short lived, where the brown stuff was a little more like long lasting. And it took my friends from me. My one buddy, like we saw a movie together, and the girl behind the counter selling tickets told him she was headed to Vegas on a run, and he left with her that night, missed a gig, missed getting signed, and went headfirst into that world for about 10 and a half, 11 months. Called me up out of the blue, and I had lost 120 pounds.
Right.
I didn't recognize him when I went to pick him up. I didn't even see him.
It'll definitely take the weight off you.
It was very strange. And it happened to my other buddy, too. It was much the same way.
That's some.
It just takes over. It
It's- yeah.
dominates.
See, we didn't. I was a little bit more, say, hardcore than the
Most
bumps.
folks.
I had in the one room of the house, we had a glass top table, about the size of this table as far as wide,
Right.
probably, I don't know, about yay long.
Right.
And I would do what they call hot rails. I'd take like 2 grams of meth, line it out in a line, and then you take
Can't see his line, but it was like that long.
what we would do
Yeah,
is
I'd
we
say
would
it
take
was like that long.
we
but-
would take
That's crazy.
a bongs, a dab bong. You put it at the end with dabs in it. And you take a shooter, you heat it with a torch, and then you snort it. And as you snort it, it hits that hot tube. So you're
Right.
getting smoke and the crystal.
Oh,
on it.
Oh,
And then you
Lordy.
get to the end, and then you do your hit of dabs.
Wow.
And yeah, there was times, dude, I thought I was gonna die just because I couldn't catch my
I
breath.
bet.
What I mean, I just can't. Oh my
I know,
gosh.
right?
I just can't. I never did it, so I can't imagine.
I mean,
And
know what I mean?
see, for me, that was the
I never did.
I know
either.
what I dabbled in, and I drew the line at really like the LSD. I really liked LSD a lot.
So
And
I'm-
shrooms, but
Mhm.
like I had tried some of the white because I was a rock star, but
Right.
that was always offered. I never bought it
Sure,
myself.
that was the same with
And,
me.
and then when the other one came up, I just knew to draw the line there. I did. I drew the line, and I never.
I didn't like that buzz myself, all jittery and freaking.
Yeah,
I just
I'm not
don't
a
like that.
speed freak.
And I don't
Hey.
like the,
I'm
you
not a
know, when you
speed
pop
freak.
pills and you're slobbering on
You
yourself.
ever-
I don't like that. That's why I
Right.
was pretty much.
You ever
been a
notice all the
weed guy.
tweakers and speeders all have them
Yes.
lines on their forehead?
Uh-huh.
You know what that's from, don't you?
What?
Looking out the blinds.
There is a certain level of paranoia. That's right.
Yeah.
Did you experience any of that firsthand?
Well, you know, it's funny that you bring that up because the whole way that I got caught, it was weird because right when they got me
Right.
was when I was getting out of it.
Oh,
I honestly-
Oh man.
No,
Really? Like,
seriously.
you were
Always the
really
way
getting
it
out.
is.
Seriously, I had told everybody I was done making the shit. I was done.
And maybe someone dialed you out.
You're right. They got mad.
But we're losing that connection.
Yep.
Call the cops.
Yeah, something happened.
F this
idea.
guy.
Hey man, go over to this house. This guy's got tons of drugs there. And then they
Well,
show up and you don't
I'm
have
sure
anybody.
they watched me for several
Well,
months
yeah.
before they.
Wow. They had to
Well,
build a
sure,
case.
yeah.
I think there
Especially
was
at that
more
level.
than one person probably that
Oh, I'm sure.
You know.
So you obviously
Hey.
learned your lesson. So like, what happened after that for you? You know, after you straightened your shit out and everything, were your kids real welcoming when you got out of jail? Or were they
Yeah,
like, "F
well,
you,
that's
Dad,
the
you're a
thing.
drug
I
addict,"
never hid it from my kids.
right?
I mean, the way I was raised,
Wow.
I kind of have this aspect to where
John Belushi.
a lot of the things that I learned not to do in my life, as well as some of the bad habits I picked up, but
Right.
a lot of the things I learned not to do,
right.
I learned from watching other people get in
Right.
I
trouble.
learned it by watching you, Dad.
Right.
I learned
No,
it
I
by
can't say that. No,
watching you.
my dad, he drank, but he never messed with anything besides alcohol and nicotine,
Right.
you know? But, there was, you know what? Come to think of it, you asked me the first time I smoked, I remember now.
Right. Let's hear
It
it.
all
My
comes
mom
back.
had been diagnosed
It
with
all
cancer,
comes
Right.
back.
and the doctor was giving her government weed
Right.
so she'd have an appetite after chemo.
Right. Right.
My sister was getting ready to get married. She was going to be moving out of the house. And my mom went to give my brother-in-law a hug. He had one of them Levi denim. And she hugged him. And she was like, "What's that?" The old black and gray film container.
Oh.
She popped the
seeds.
lid on it and looked in there. She put the lid back on it and handed it to him. She said, "I got better shit than that. You guys get over here and sit down."
Oh boy.
No shit.
Yeah.
And
And
you
I
got
remember
ripped with
getting high with
mom.
my mom and getting so high, dude. I was just a little kid then.
Wow.
I remember chilling under the table and she was like, here's coffee. Your dad's giving you coffee."
Wow. It is kind of cool.
like,
because, you know,
"Yeehaw,
my son
boy."
has epilepsy,
You're
and,
right.
and he's had 2 seizures, and they were both in my presence, and they both scared the hell out of me because you're powerless.
It does,
Right.
man.
You can't do
A
anything.
seizure, yep,
Their
it will
eyes
freak
roll back.
you out.
You're afraid they're going to choke on their
Right.
tongue. Sometimes they seize a little bit, and sometimes they don't. And I turn him on his side, and I tap him on the face to let him know I'm there, and I'm like, "Wake up, wake up, wake up!" And I try to remind him to come back to this side, you know.
Right.
And I seen him hit his head real hard at Walmart when it happened the one day, and that was it. After that, we were on CBD, and he has not had a seizure since. I'm a big believer in that.
Well,
and I had
where I'm
cancer,
from,
and
it's
kept me alive.
totally legal where I'm from.
It's illegal here now too. They passed it last
Well,
year.
no, I mean, like where
Finally.
I'm from, they have what they call a 420 parade.
Right.
They actually
right.
have floats and stuff that'll go down the main street,
Right.
and like they're throwing bags of candy, they're throwing bags of weed.
Right.
Yeah.
It's totally, and you know, that's what was really neat about San Diego when I went out there. Everybody was excited about going to the dispensary, and I was like, well, I don't want to drive 35 minutes because in San Diego, you drive like 35 minutes where we were at downtown on Fifth Avenue. And it was, I just said, you know, they got to be more forward thinking in California. And I went to my voice thing on my phone, and I said, "Siri, online cannabis delivery." And it brought up everybody within the miles. I was able to place my order, and they brought it right to the hotel.
Right.
You know, and I didn't have to go anywhere. And I was able to walk right down the road, find a nice little spot, and just kind of take a couple rips and not have to worry about it, man. It was so nice. And then you come back here, and it's like the boot is on your head. Like, you know, you can't smoke. I love it when it's open like that.
Right.
It's a different atmosphere. Everybody's different.
Yeah. So I spent quite a few years messing around.
Oh,
I was a hardcore methanite.
Right. And you were there for kind of the apex of it, really, man, because it got real heavy in this particular area, like real quick,
Right.
and right around that time. And I remember there were a lot of people, not just my 2 buddies. There were a lot of people that got
And-
on that train.
Like I seen things during my addiction that would probably made most people
Like what?
quit. Well,
What really blew your mind?
one thing, the guy that I learned how to cook from,
Right?
I was present and his lab blew up on it.
How did it happen? Because that's something common.
His was basically what it leads back to is a mistake.
Right. Always is.
If you get too comfortable doing anything, whether it be working on a car,
That's right.
working on
You're
guns,
dealing with dangerous chemicals.
and you
Right.
feel comfortable to where you're not worried about fucking up,
You're going to blow
fuck
your
up,
arm off.
man.
Right.
Well, he didn't blow. He had over 3rd-degree burns over probably 90% of his body.
Wow.
I had to
you,
put him
you
out.
were there.
I had to put the fire out.
How'd it smell? They say you never forget
Look,
it.
it wasn't so much the smell, but I do remember when I was putting the fire out, I gave him a towel to wrap around his soft. His tattoos were melted off.
Ooh, yeah. That's brutal, man.
And he didn't want to go to the hospital. And I'm like, no, bro,
Oh,
you
gotta
have
go.
to go.
This is just the beginning.
Yeah,
You're
this
still cooking.
right. This is the worst. There ain't nothing I can do for you.
Ooh.
What I ended up doing for him,
Boy.
honestly, is I said, open your mouth. He opened his mouth. I said, volume. I said, gave him 2 volumes.
Well, that's the best you could do, yeah.
I was like, called the dude that
Disconnect.
freaked and left. That left him while he was burning, like up and ran out the house and left him. I wasn't even in the room with him.
Wow.
So
That's crazy.
called him and got him, convinced him to come back. And I said, look, man, take him to the hospital. You got to drop him off the hospital. You got to. I didn't have a vehicle at the time,
Oh,
you know.
man.
Bloody camera change.
What? Hello. Hello, you. He looks like a paper cut.
That's pretty wild.
I'm glad I'm not the only fat guy on camera.
Yeah, right? I was gonna say something earlier and I forgot. I was gonna get a pen because in the middle of conversation I was like, and then I forgot.
Oh,
And now I forgot. I should've
but
been-
yeah, I mean, I was telling Tom today, I think that's what's wrong with me. All the drugs that I've done in my life and all the head banging and
Catches up to you.
yeah.
We get
I
older.
think I damaged my frontal lobe.
We get
looks like a worn out coochie.
Right. It's like a roast beef sandwich that was kicked by a steel toe boot.
What did you like about the LSD?
I always had such a good trip.
Me too.
I never had a bad trip. It was
It was with the people. I was
right,
with would make
right.
It bad, but
Hey,
like,
you know,
were you real visual with it? you
well,
see a
yeah,
lot of
well,
cool
we
stuff?
would do that kind of stuff on purpose. Like the one house I lived in, the 1 bedroom,
Right.
had them glow in the dark stars and stuff.
Oh yeah.
We would take them down and throw them with the
Oh,
lights
boy.
off, and you'd see tracers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
Tracers were always fun. Fireworks were great.
Look,
Fireworks were real
Oh.
good. 4th of July, baby.
That's
I've been
dangerous.
when it
there.
comes to
tell
LSD,
you.
dude. I've done LSD in some strange places.
Where?
We tripped all night in the graveyard once.
Ooh, that's
yeah?
a scary
The
one.
one over there
I didn't go
beside
all night,
Mercy.
but-
Yeah.
Me, my brother, and a few of us, we spent all night in that bitch.
Ooh,
tripping
man.
balls. We must have looked at every single grave
That's
in there. bro.
crazy.
There's a Frankenstein in there.
I trip balls.
That's right. There is. There
Hey.
is.
Yeah.
I trip balls.
It's big too.
You know, there's
Big
a
old
grave
grave.
there where if you walk around it 3 times, 2 white calves will follow you.
Look, I trip
Calves?
balls for 8
Calves.
hours.
Calves,
Yes.
I trip balls for 8 hours
like the Cleveland ball players.
in a Alzheimer's unit, bro.
C-A-L-V-E-S.
Hear me?
Huh?
No.
I tripped for 8 hours in an Alzheimer's unit.
Oh boy.
Ooh, that's
To where you'd be
interesting.
walking down the hall tripping balls and you'd hear, "Wah!"
Oh man, yeah. Oh man. Ooh, that'd be intense, dude.
It was crazy.
That'd be intense.
Hey, look, we were sitting there and this old man came down the hallway and they had this giant bird cage in this facility.
Oh jeez.
He climbed in the bird cage and was pissing on the bird.
Oh,
We were
shit.
standing there tripping, just watching him pee on this bird.
Wow.
I'm like,
That's a that's a hell of a thing.
yeah, I've experienced some.
I always liked the visuals. Yeah, that was the best part. And the laughter, you know. I remember I was in a bathroom and my buddy was outside and there was a giant mirror and he knew I was in front of the mirror based on my voice through the door, you know. And I just started laughing because my head was doing all kinds of crazy stuff in the reflection because it was getting real visual. And I started laughing and then he knew what I was doing, so he started laughing. And now we're passing that laugh back and forth. And I remember we did that for about 10 minutes. It's like being in a madhouse when
Right.
you're on that stuff, you know? And I hurt the next day, literally, from that laughter, because it was intense, like 10
Mhm.
minutes
Stomach's
of
always sore
hysterical,
the next day.
stomach-churning laughter.
Yeah.
You know? I liked that about
I
it,
mean,
that overall happy feeling. you
For
know?
me, everything I've experienced in my life, I mean, not all of it was fun and games,
Right.
you know? Addiction's
absolutely.
a bitch,
It
man.
is,
And-
man. You got to be stronger than it. That's what it comes
Well,
down
the key to it is, look, this is what it boils down to. As many years now as I've been clean, you always got to remember I'm one fuck up from ending up right back where I started.
That's right, man.
So
That's
you
right.
know, and I'm not dogging anybody that's still
That's right.
using. And those of you that are trying to get off, man, God bless you.
That's right, and you can, because I did
Amen
it
to
with
that.
methadone this year after being on it for 8 years, man. And I went cold turkey.
Right.
My doctor, you know, he was really proud of me, I think, because that was the final straw. And like, I still have to take morphine because I have real bad pain from the 2 surgeries that they did for the cancer, and it sucks, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I got to do what I got to do to get by. But I'm by no means like a drug addict like I was when that's all I had. The cannabis has been a great thing. I hope people realize how many people it actually helps. It's not all fun and games, man. It actually does really help you out. It eats cancer. That's what's kept me alive.
Mm-hmm. Sure enough. But I forgot.
That's a big hairy butt.
Right. You were going to ask
airy
something.
butt? Oh, I was going to ask something. I was like, I don't remember.
And I can't read your chicken scratch.
He's
But
got part-timers.
We did a good progression. I don't think we went back and forth too bad.
Oh, that's one of the things I was going to say is thanks for hanging out, everybody. And the
Don't hit that
Outhouse
bell.
Podcast is definitely not one of those podcasts where we'd ask you to like, share,
not
subscribe, or
hit
any of
that
that
damn
and
bell.
hit the bell. We wouldn't want to do that to
Don't
you
hit the bell.
because everybody always asks you to
Whatever
do
you
that.
do, not the wed
even
one.
though you know the subscription helps their websites. And we
Yeah,
wouldn't do
right.
that to
We
you.
wouldn't
tell
ask
you
for
to
any
like,
kind of help or
subscribe,
bump or anything like that.
any of that.
We don't need no love.
So
Yeah, we have to throw that in every now and then.
every now and again.
So, do you go to concerts? Are you a show guy? Are you still into music?
No, you
Oh,
can
yeah.
jam, though too. Don't you practice once a week or have band?
Yeah, well, it hasn't
Jam.
been once a week recently, but I
So
got
you're-
one of my best friends that I played with for. He's more like a brother to me than anything. But we started playing together. I was like 18, and we still get together now.
Mhm.
It's still the same 2 old guys, but we're doing things a little different. Last year we did a bunch of acoustic stuff. You know,
I love it, man, because I love that now, you know. I do.
We mix it up. There's not a genre per se. We do a mix.
Got
of
an
everything.
hour?
Huh?
You got an hour?
hour's worth of stuff.
You want to be on the coop?
Come do chicken
I
coop
think you
live.
should.
Well,
man.
we
Why don't you
haven't.
come
We,
do it?
we haven't. We haven't. In
Do
the
what you got.
last 4 months or so, we haven't really jammed together.
Yeah.
He ended up getting sick. He got a staph infection and he was
Oh,
down for a
wow.
while, and he hasn't made it out. He lives up in Cuyahoga Falls, so.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, man.
So yeah, guys, if you got a band, you want to come do the Chicken Coop live, get at me on Facebook, Tom Dalo, DALO.
Dalo Radio Show.
Yes.
I remember that back in the good old
Good old
days
stuff.
when you were the only podcast available.
Right.
We did this, but we didn't have video.
Right.
And I'd play music and then sometimes have bands in to play.
Sometimes I got to go on, and all I said was,
It was
Tom,
fun.
play some more Slayer. Let's hear another Slayer
We did
song,
phone
Tom.
pranks. I still got some of that stuff. I'll probably upload that
I
stuff
want to
onto
hear
this
Rain and
deal one of
Blood,
these days. Actually, I got a bunch of old recordings, bunch of old
Dead Skin Mask.
VHS tapes of bands and all kinds of stuff, and all my old radio shows I got. So I'm going to upload them here on the Media Farm as soon as I get my lazy ass in there and edit all the stuff. And
Well, we're
add
building the
pictures and
archive
stuff.
slowly but surely. And once
We'll
you
get
get
there.
moving, we just have to get the
We
equipment.
getting
Once
there.
we get together though and get to tightening up, we'll come on.
Yep.
We
Yeah,
do a mixed genre of stuff. We do.
He's
From-
not talking about the tightening up I'm talking about.
We're
And you know a lot of
'Cause I
people, so
don't
put
use
the
a
word
wrench.
out.
Yep, we do a little bit of jelly roll. We do
Oh, man. My ex-wife loves him.
jelly roll. We do some Chris Cornell, of course. You know, God rest his soul.
I like
It's a mix. We do a little bit of country. We do a few different. You know, we kind of bounce around, but it's just the 2 of us sit down with a couple acoustics. We do some Aaron Lewis.
acoustic stuff.
You know, we do some Aaron Lewis stuff. It's a mix.
Acoustic's nice, man. I like 12 strings.
Well, like I said, me and this
Me
guy,
too.
have
One right behind you.
been playing together forever, and he.
There is. Can you
Right
play it?
behind
What
you.
if I handed it to you? Could you play it?
I could, but it's got wires on it. But this is a 6-string.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, we
You're right. It'd
there
make a
was
mess. I'll probably knock all this shit off the
You
table.
old Epi that was at the store that he liked, my buddy. So I bought it for him for his birthday a couple years back, and then of course he had a one up me. So my birthday he got me a Taylor. And once I got that Taylor acoustic, that pretty much
That's a
that was
nice
the
piece.
direction we went. Was all acoustic after
Dave
that.
brings it in. I need some strings on this. I like polished her all up, set it back up.
They
He's like,
just
I
sound
just needed
nice.
strings, man.
My
Like,
friend had a
shit.
Washburn that I just love the sound of, man.
Well, I got that Taylor Big Baby, and it's a real small bodied guitar, but it's got a
Sounds
real
full.
deep tone.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a real full sound.
See, that's how that Washburn was. That low E was low and slow. I loved it.
Right.
I wanted to get him one of those.
Need a spot of tea.
Yeah, we're out of coffee up here.
There's probably a little left. in the
Oh,
pot.
And we're
shit.
actually not like too far on time. We still got time. However
Right.
you want to roll.
Right.
What was it? Oh, nipple off the
Tweaky,
meat.
tweaky.
Give me a nipple.
You guys are good friends.
He touches me in special ways. Yeah, you ought to see some of these instruments these people bring in, man.
No.
That shit is crazy. He's pretty much a miracle worker.
You have
when
to
it
be
comes
working with what? A lot of orchestra people and local
It's
people?
mostly school
children.
bands.
Yeah, kids.
Well, I bet that's the biggest chunk, yeah.
Yeah.
They drop it and get in fights.
Lots of
Somebody brought
trumpets.
what was it, a trumpet? Or a
Trombone.
trombone. That thing was like this, dude. I don't know how the hell he straightened it out. He was like,
He's a craftsman.
My damaged frontal lobe, I willed it.
That's right.
he's
He's
got
a-
a scepter and some dice
Right.
too, buddy.
Oh
Hey,
my
don't talk
God.
about Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh. You guys
he's
do.
a dungeon master, you know.
You guys do a lot of voices, man. I've been hearing it all night. You know,
We
and-
clown
and they're
like that
good.
all day at work.
Who
bro.
was it that you did
Look.
today on the way here that made me laugh? The South Park guy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, which one? Yeah.
No, it wasn't that. It was one of the teachers.
Shoot if it's bad,
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
it. That's
Mr.
it.
Garrison, okay.
That's it.
Shoot if it's bad, okay, kids?
Don't do drugs.
Stay away from
especially
Sudafed made products, okay?
That's funny. How about Hanna-Barbera? You know any of the Hanna-Barberas? Feed to Scooby? I love
No,
Scooby.
can't do Scooby. I can do Bobby from Bobby's World, Howie Mandel.
Yeah?
Hi, my name is Bobby, and I'm only 3 years old.
Wow.
And every time my mommy put me on the potty, I would
Damn,
cry.
that is good. That is really good,
Almost sound
man.
like dudes from the Ninja Turtles too.
Oh, it's total cartoon, but man, that was Bobby. He did it. Man. That was really, really good, man. Holy
That's
shit.
funny.
You guys just sit around with your cocks on the table all the time?
Yeah,
I mean,
All
what
the time, and mine's
Massive
much bigger
cock.
than Tom's. I love
Yeah.
being able to say that. My cock's bigger, Tom.
Mine's a way bit of a hen.
Got a wee little pecker, you do.
He's got a cock and I've got a little pecker.
Right.
Every time we go to the outhouse, there's this giant cock waiting on us.
That's why you know that. That's why Rooster don't wear any underwear. There's peckers on his face.
There was something else I wanted to ask you, man. It was really.
I
good.
got a
I did
question
that
for
twice.
you.
What's that?
Do you know what you call a prostitute with a runny nose?
Oh no. What?
Full.
Oh, oh man, that's dirty. I like that though. I like it when we go blue here. That's not bad at all. It's pretty nasty. That's nasty.
Disgusting.
Need to meet a girl like that.
Right.
But where's she at?
I don't know. Let's go find her.
Just follow the snail trail.
Tracks in the sand.
Right.
I think it's been a pretty interesting show, man. You've been a really, really interesting guest, man.
Well, I appreciate it.
I'm glad you took time to come in here and
I,
bullshit with us
I don't
for a
know
little
why
bit.
I was billed as a comedian.
Well, it's been funny, man. Like you do know some stuff, man. Because like that world always did intrigue me in a way. I had a friend of mine tell me a story when he got out of that world of like why he got out. He said I played a big part in it because I'd seen him at a store, and I said you got hips like your sister. And he said that getting out of the shower, he saw himself in the full-length mirror and heard those words echo because he saw his hip bones. And he said that he went back that night to this place and got his shit, and everybody was wearing the same clothes, playing the same card game, doing the same shit. And he left, and he came back like 3 days later, and it was the same story. But there was something to do with, like, he said he laid down to take a nap, and these two tweakers came in with a samurai sword. And one of them said to the other guy, let's cut his head off, or something to that effect. And they didn't know that he was awake. And he said he could see through his eyelashes that there's was a very real samurai sword, and he could literally feel it tracing the hairs on his neck when the dude like dropped it down. Like,
Yeah, see,
measuring him
that's
up.
where me and him varied because
And he said, "I just kept cool." And he
even in
goes,
my addiction, there's always a 1911 under my pillow.
That's pretty- I mean, that's a
And
pretty
Smith
heavy
and Wesson,
feat,
we
you
trust
know?
at my house.
That's weird because I was in a real similar situation once. Two guys waving a sword around. I don't know why people want to wave swords around when they get high. It's such a bad idea.
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
It just, I don't know, man.
Hey,
Right,
man,
well-
here's a fun fact for you. Did Tom tell you that my dick was in the Guinness Book of World Records?
Oh dear God, what did you do to
The
yourself?
librarian told me to take it out.
She said, "Get it out of
Oh,
there!
man.
What are you
I
doing?
want-
You're gonna get a paper cut.
Why did you take your penis out of the book, son?"
I walked right into that. Oh my God. I walked right into that with my face. Left my lips imprinted on it. Straight out like you said in the beginning.
It looked like dude hitting the window.
Right on. I walked right into it.
He had some big old fat lips. They left some big,
I mean, when you hit the
like
window
two
that
big
hard,
old
dude.
snails.
Hey, look, we legit left the marks on the
For
window
like a month.
for like 2 months just because every time we'd point at it, we'd die
Oh
laughing.
yeah. Well, human error is funny. That's the definition of a joke. Something that's
Right.
funny
He
that
had a
happens to
hat on,
someone
too.
else
It
that
was
doesn't happen to you. Oh man.
So
His
funny.
glasses ended up all
Yep.
crooked.
I'm tall, so I accidentally do dumb shit like that kind of all the time. Like I remember I was putting the trash away for my uncle. He goes, "Throw this away," and I went and I threw it away. And I saw it. There's a cabinet above the trash, and I'm like, "Just be careful, idiot, when you stand up." I stood right up under it. I lifted that cabinet off of the thing on the wall. Like I had it balanced on my damn head. I hit it so hard. I took it off the wall. I about broke my damn neck. I had to put it back on the wall again. It's like, I don't know, being a giant in a little man's world sometimes sucks. You walk into awnings like Taco Bell, place your order back in the 90s. They didn't do the damn thing. Oh man, that's a lawsuit. I laughed. They didn't.
For the love of Bob.
Bob.
Bob who? Bob Dobbs.
Bob Bitchin.
Yeah.
Bob Dobbs. Bob bitch.
10 seconds, Bob. What's your name?
Starts with a B.
Ends with
Ends with a B.
I know this.
Come on, Bob.
the big bamboo.
Young man, give me that knife.
Right.
Dude,
I'd like
we
to
all
introduce
listen
you.
to those,
I'd like to
obviously.
introduce you, class, to Officer Stadenko.
Yeah, yeah. They do seem rather
From the
informed.
Narco Squad.
Oh man,
Oh,
That's
I
so
wore
great.
That shit out, boy. I'm telling you.
Hey,
that
we
and
did
Eddie
too.
Murphy.
Right.
Richard
He's like,
Pryor.
Delirious.
he's like,
George Carlin,
hey,
Fast Clown.
what was his name? I forget what his name was on the album, but he's like, going downtown, going to see my girl.
Oh, blind Melon Chitlin.
Yep.
He's
That's
like,
right.
he's like, zip thud. He's like, oh, that's never gonna fit on the album cover.
Right. I think he's going to show you, JR. I love the one that had the tongue. You open it up, the tongue's got the big pill on it.
Yeah.
That was a good one. That was a good album. It had the dogs on it, I think. Ralph and Herbie.
Yep. Hey, Ralph, want to get stoned?
Man, those were all classics, man, and we all obviously heard them. I remember we played the shit out of those in like 1983, 84,
Oh, I remember as a
85,
kid,
86,
like,
you
Oh,
know.
sure.
Eddie Murphy, Raw.
Delirious and Raw, right? were
That
huge.
shit was-
Yeah, Delirious.
They were
Yeah.
huge.
Delirious.
Raw more so for us because Delirious was a little bit
Nah,
before
I
us,
was
but it was
all
right on time for
Delirious.
you.
Yeah,
right?
Delirious.
I
Yeah,
was-
he
You were a
was.
little older than me, right? And so was he.
I remember when it came out, I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
my
saw it,
God,
but
are
Yeah,
you
he
after
was.
you.
He was.
I remember that. Yeah, that was a big
That shit was
deal.
funny, man.
It was.
Yeah.
Your wife's a Bigfoot, isn't she, Gus?
You got a goony goo goo.
Oh my God! Right? It's like taglines. We can play this shit all day. You know what I mean? How many
said,
times did
"Your
you
wife
see the
can't
Lost
climb-
Boys? You
climb a
know,
flight of
I love the
stairs.
Lost
Lost
Boys.
Your wife can't climb a flight of stairs, but I bet that bitch climb a tree, can't she, Gus?
That's funny shit, man.
Avon lady come in the house the other day and said, "Nice coffee table." I said, "That ain't a coffee table. That's a piece of shit." Remember, she never
You guys
cleaned
are
up
gonna
the
give you
dog
a
shit.
flashback or something. Man. That's some crazy culture, man. We all were inundated with that stuff. Well, I'm out.
Then of course you had the Jerky Boys.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. You know when that came out, it was making the rounds. Is like people were just making copies on cassette when it first came out. I remember.
Right.
And a friend of mine got it from college, and I brought it home, and I listened to it, and I laughed my ass off because me and my brothers did phone pranks all the time. I have two brothers, you know.
Right.
I remember my dad heard it, and Dad goes, "What are you boys listening to?" Because he heard all the F word, you know. And I said, "It's these phone pranks, Dad, but they're hysterical. You really should hear it." So I put in that part where he says, you know, "I'll wrap your fucking head in with a ratchet." And my dad laughed his ass off. And he's like, "Should I bring my fucking tools?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "I don't think you could talk like that and come here and work, you know." And my dad lost it. We played that tape, both sides, through dinner. And dinner lasted the length of the tape, man, you know, and it had all that stuff on it. My brothers were really into that, too.
Me and my brother Robert, we used to do phone pranks, man.
They're so much fun.
We look, we're in Colorado, and he at the time, he had been like 16, 17 years old.
It's a guy thing.
He calls Pizza Hut, and he's like, "Yes, I'd like to speak to the manager, please." And he waits. Pretty soon you hear the manager get on the phone, and he's like, "Yeah, I got a little bit of a problem. I came into your establishment earlier, and me and my brother here sat down and ate a large pepperoni pizza with green pepper and onion, and I don't know what you put in it, but I got the shits." You could hear the lady on the other end of the phone dying, dude. I mean, she was legitimately laughing so hard you could hear it, you know? But we used to do dumb shit. Oh.
That band that was in here last week, Ellis Company, they was in here the week before, drunk as hell.
Oh, my
They
gosh.
got a hold of my cousin's moonshine. They went fishing. And on the way back, they decided to come here and jam, right?
Right.
We were out to dinner, and I convinced he wasn't going to do it. We were finally taking a break eating at that nice new deli out at Belden, and the food was just coming out, and the phone blew up.
Who?
And boom, we were here.
There was somewhere I was going to go with that.
Yeah, they should have ripped on your moonshine.
No, there was
Moonshine.
Well, they
damn.
wasn't real rednecks because they wouldn't have been fishing. They'd have been noodling and drinking moonshine.
Yeah, what was you just talking about? Because it had. It was
Damn it.
Pizza Hut.
Voice of God.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought of something once, but it's gone now.
Hey.
Phone calls and shit.
Yeah, we did a one for a local pizza shop here with Ed and a member. That didn't have
We
nothing
did a
to do
lot.
with Ellison Company. I was gonna go somewhere else with that, but I
we
don't know.
did a lot of phone
I don't
pranks
know
with
what the
you.
fuck.
That's how you and me first got together when you were doing the radio show. Again, that's how we reconnected.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because you were like, "Dude, we could do these phone pranks up easy at my place. I got mics, and everybody could have a mic."
That's what it was. So when they was on their way back from fishing to come somewhere in that trip, they stopped at a bar, just random bar, and walked in the back door into the kitchen. Was like, "We're the band. We're here to play." And the dude in the kitchen's freaking out. He's like, "Wait a minute, I gotta go get the owner." So they go get the owner, and the owner comes. "Oh no, man, I think you got us confused. You want the band down the street?" No, man, it's the whatever name. He's
That's
like,
a good
"It's
way
this
to do
bar,
it.
man. We got it scheduled." And I guess they
That's
had
a
this
good way
dude
to do it.
freaked out, man. Could you imagine that?
That's
Just
awesome.
walking in the back door of a random bar. We're
Right.
here.
We're here. That's a
Them-
good way to
them
do
guys
it.
are nuts, man. I was dying when
You
they
never
told
know.
me
They might
that.
be like, "All right, set up."
I was like, hell no. Walked in the back door into the kitchen. We're here. We're ready to play.
That's pretty good.
Don't-
Dude, they
don't
were
freak
comedy
out.
gold that night when they showed up here. Because
That
you,
shit
you,
was crazy.
you weren't going to do it, and with good reason, because you knew they were liquored up. And I talked him into it. I said, "Look, we asked for this, and it's live music, so let's do it, bro." And he goes, F it. Well, let's go. So we came out, and we got here. Everybody was ready to go. But then it just turned into like when we were trying to set up a little bit ago. That's kind of when we started
just wanted to
experiencing the
jam.
technical
They didn't-
difficulties. Right. They didn't realize that it was going to be an hour and a half setup because Tom had to turn everything on and get everything going. They
Right.
just thought it'd be a flip a switch and go.
Oh,
We
yeah.
had to do a sound check and everything so it would sound right for everybody that was listening, you know?
Right.
Because that's who we really care about at the end of the day. It doesn't make any sense otherwise. Otherwise, we could just not run it at all and they could just jam,
Right.
you know?
26 minutes in, we find out the audio is unplugged.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Oh,
ain't
it was
cool.
awful, man. It was a nightmare. And but it was funny because they were so liquored up. At one point, Tom had like this face melting spotlight, and they were
Flashlight,
just
dude.
so liquored. They were in the zone jamming, and he was just blasting their faces with it, trying to get their attention to get them to cut so he could move on to the next thing. And nobody noticed.
I can't believe he didn't see the inside of his eyelids.
Yeah.
Glowing. This
Glowing,
fucking
dude,
flashlight,
glowing.
dude,
And he
is
just
so
turned and looked
bright.
at me and just laughed in utter frustration. And then he slammed his ass in the chair and he goes, "That's it, I'm done." And then they stopped. And then he just like yelled like a school teacher. It was great. It
Like,
was. He
Damn
snapped.
it!
Damn it! Damn it!
Every time I try, we gonna keep doing this? And they was like, oh,
Sorry.
okay.
And Tom reaches for the knob, and the dude starts playing again. Tom goes,
Well-
I'm out. That was a crazy night.
It
man.
was fun though.
And it would have been great if the camera would have
Yeah,
been
and
rolling.
they did. When they got into that zone though, they was getting it. Me and Ed had some great footage, man.
Yeah.
We
were dialed in.
man, dude. And I looked over and I was like, man, there's no meters.
Oh, shit! I just heard him scream,
I was like,
Eddie,
"Man."
look! And I saw right in front of me the cords were not put together, and we had no green bar mounts. And I was
No.
like, oh, man.
Man.
We had something there, too. But you know what? We still got
And
something
speaking of which,
great.
their
And then
their
singing.
videos is doing good.
Yeah, it
They
is,
got
man.
they're probably right now approaching 100 hits in like 4 days, 3
Yeah,
days, 4
It looks
days.
good, man. And it sounds
Well, you
know,
guys probably would have done a hell of a lot better if you didn't have my boring ass on here.
It sounds good, you know.
Well, not this. We're talking about Chicken Coop Live, but no, man, we're good.
Yeah, the podcast is
This-
kind of separate. Media Farm is the umbrella. Chicken Coop is the music side of things. That's where the live bands are kind of playing out of. It's a different kind of a thing. And that's really cool,
Yeah,
too.
it's still
only
cool.
only
It's
the damaged
exciting.
frontal lobe people get to come on
Right.
the Outhouse.
No, who's next? Have you?
Yeah, it's Mike Tyson, Whitmer.
Right, I can't wait. That's going to be a fun
Guys.
one. I can't wait. Icky Whale.
They will be here next Wednesday, and then their band
Icky Whale.
will be
Is
here.
it Icky Whale still?
No, it's Hold Your Truth. is
That's
the name
cool.
of
They
their
got
band.
videos up online yet?
Yeah, I believe
Oh, I
they
want
do.
to check them out.
I follow. I'm friends or I follow.
Post it on the page tonight, the video, so I can just go to your page and watch it.
Because they're actually playing, I believe, at the Ignorant Owl this Saturday. We should probably go up and check them out.
Ah, we could probably do that.
I
That
think
might be
because
cool.
it's right up the street.
Maybe him.
We might come
Social
up there,
media live.
boys.
That might be cool.
Sounds slicker than now shit.
Yeah, they got original
Huh.
songs. It's who's that? Mike Tice, Ben Patson, Vic on drums, Vincy, and there's somebody else I say, the guitar player. Who is that? Sorry guys, I'm having a mental block. I know who it is.
Well, I'm glad you know.
I just been all day today, so I've been going through Facebook.
East
See,
Fried.
What
Oh,
the
yeah.
deal is with my Facebook is I'm considered as a content creator, but if I get as I looked at my stats the other night, not only a content creator, but I'm obviously some sort of an influencer because I got more people watching my page that's unfollowers than followers.
Right.
Which is
Which is interesting.
totally bizarre to
That's what
me.
I showed you with the Instagram photos with me. Like, I only have like 18 or 20 followers, but your picture has like 300 views by people who don't even follow me.
right. And
It's
it, like,
very strange.
and so my actual Facebook page needs 1,000 followers before I can move to the next level,
Right.
which is actually getting monetized.
right. To where you
So
can-
then today I
take
went
care of
out
business.
and started all the musicians. If you wonder why that all of a sudden Tom Dalo showed up on your thing, because any of the musicians that are friends with the musicians that I already know, I was hitting everybody up.
we're
so
trying to
that
get the
way,
word out.
you know, you know what's going on and whatever, and this is part of the community now. So get your ass in here and either come on the podcast or bring your band in. Either
Yeah.
one.
Hey
Right.
man, I
You
don't
know
know.
what I
There's
mean?
some bands out there that you're gonna have to wait until they top the charts. To...
Yeah,
Oh.
at least one band.
Oh, Dickie.
Well,
Dickie Dave.
we just want them to know we'll do them right in here. You know, we're not
So,
looking to
right.
ambush, interview
Right.
anybody or anything. We
They'll
wanna
do you right.
uh,
They'll use the lube. Don't worry.
We want to
We'll spit.
Oh,
We'll
geez.
spit.
Oh man.
Just call him Uncle Bad Touch, eh?
Oh, the dirty old
Uncle
Gunner Owl.
Stinky Finger.
Stink finger. You know, stink finger is a whole other thing. You know, when you're working with the disabled.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know,
stir your tea with the stinky finger.
Stink finger. You don't want to get a stink finger.
that's how the
I
corn
won't, I
dog was.
won't even allow
Hey,
that.
you know that's how the corn dog was invented.
I'm not walking into nothing.
He's like,
Last
Hey,
time
dude,
I
some
watched
dude was
Face
with his
First
old lady
into
one
it.
night and pulled it out and was like, come on.
Face first. Face first, right into it, man. Not this time. Did you hit that whiskey?
No.
You just sat it up there.
I
That's
just-
good.
I don't have a cup.
They know
Well,
they're in
you know
bottle
what?
shape.
I got an empty cup.
They might send you a case for that. That'd be awesome.
That
Because you
would
go
be
through
aw-
that
yeah.
stuff. That's your
Sea
flavor.
Royal apple.
That's right. The crown,
I'll be
baby.
smashing it. Bring
Purple
it.
bag used to be my
Help us out
flavor.
here.
I used to like the purple bag, but I had to give up the alcohol,
Yeah.
man.
I don't do it a lot.
The purple
No,
bag.
you don't.
Hey, the purple
don't
bag's
really
what we always
drink.
carried all of our paraphernalia in.
I know,
man.
me too, right?
You don't drink it all, do you?
No,
I
not
didn't
no
think
more.
so. I didn't
Been-
think so.
I've been
I
off.
mean, I
I've-
didn't know if you.
I stopped drinking years
I just
before
know
I
you
quit
didn't
doing
do shit
anything else.
I just,
I can't even tell you how many years ago it's been since I had a
Yeah.
drink.
I pretty much I quit
That's
when I
cool.
got branded. When you were talking about the burn thing, I got branded, and that's how I got my black belt. And that really, like when you're talking about the skin thing, you know, it is. It's really kind of scary when that happens. You know, I didn't realize it at the time. It was the after. When it does, it keeps cooking layer by layer by layer,
Mhm.
depending on how hot the item is that touches you. And like this thing was, I was drinking with my brothers. I was celebrating my 1 year anniversary of my first divorce, and my brother Eric had Korpsky, we called it, and it was a half a gallon of this rock gut vodka, cheap vodka. You know, the songs are right about it, man.
The old potato vodka.
Yes, and I'm gonna tell you what, I drank a half of a half gallon, whatever that is, and got annihilated watching the old David Carradine Kung Fu. And we were talking about doing it. And it's like, you know, well, that's it. That'll be your graduation, big boy. And I was like, all right, sign me up. And we had a dragon. It was just like at the beginning of that show. I mean, I was going to get the imprint on the inside. And they're like, no, that's baby skin. You don't want to do that.
Thank you.
And, oh, man, can I get some of that too, please? And
Oh,
I was like, no, yeah, I do want it. And I did. I took it. And that piece of glass was spitting. It was making that sound, and it was spitting flames. And then he had a glove, and I took it for about 10 seconds.
I've never experienced, well, burns in the auto mechanic trade. I've done, here's a story for you.
Burns and auto mechanics?
Doing-
No.
Doing leaf springs. And we used to, the one job I had at Black's up in Akron there, in Barberton.
I used to know a dude that did that out there on.
We'd custom make leaf
Bar-
springs,
or,
like old school way, like the old blacksmith. We'd take flat metal and beat it, had the anvil, the
Mhm.
sledgehammer, you drill the holes.
Right?
Well, to get them out, you take a torch and you heat them U-bolts
Yeah,
till they're
yeah.
bright red, and then you hit it with an impact.
Oh, man.
So I'm backing this off, and I go to lift the impact over the rear end and bump the trigger, and it shot that bolt out of there right down my long sleeve shirt,
Shit.
rolled all the way down,
Oh,
stopped here, burned a donut on my arm.
Oh.
But it was so hot that I went
It
like
burned through your
this
shirt.
and burnt through the shirt and dropped back in the cut.
Oh,
Son of a
wow.
Bitch.
Yeah.
Man.
Ow.
Other good one on a job. This put a damper on my guitar playing for a while.
No, I guess.
I was a butcher out in Colorado. There's a store called Safeway Foods. They're like a big chain, like
Yeah,
Giant
right, I've
Eagle
heard
or
of that.
whatever. I was a butcher's apprentice there. Cutting bone-in steak. Me and my boss had been out all night long. We closed the store the day before. Went out all night. Never went to bed. Never ate. Doing lines, drinking.
Partying.
Had
right.
to open the store back up 6 that morning.
Yeah, let's cut them chops.
So none of us go to bed, right? We go in there, and I'm cutting T-bones.
Oh, man.
And you throw the side of the beef up on this big tray, and you just swing your hips, and it's a bandsaw. Zink, 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 and you're cutting.
Right.
And I'm like, la-da-da, la-da-da, and I cut like 2 sides. Shut the machine off, go to take my glove off, and I look, and I'm like, I cut my fucking finger off.
Oh.
He owes me about $1 now.
Oh, man.
Anyway,
That'd be a hell of a thing.
Damn.
you'd have thought he cut his finger off. He was like freaking. He's like, oh my God. I'm like, I grabbed a paper towel, put it on there. I'm like, look, man, can you give me a ride? He's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Oh, wow, man.
Hey,
Was it off?
oh yeah, I split it like this at an angle.
Right.
So if you look, I'm actually down to the first knuckle.
Oh, wow.
So what I did was I cut it this way, like so. Well, right there.
Wow.
So what they did was it was cut this way. So what they did
That's
is they cut the
gnarly.
fingertip off, turned it sideways, and then they took a bunch of muscle and skin from here
Right.
and rebuilt the side of my finger.
Wow.
But the surgeon that took care of me, he actually took care of the U.S. Olympic team and the Denver Broncos. And my fingernail still grows,
That's awesome.
but it changed my whole hand mechanics.
That's what I was gonna ask.
absolutely.
So I had to learn. It was like starting all over again.
Larry did the same thing.
Did that give you a reason to do it? So you could get your dexterity back and everything and come back with a finger? Did you pick up the guitar to just
I picked it up
see if you could still do it?
basically to see if I could still do it, and I found out real quick that skin graft is a hell of a lot softer than my regular.
Ooh, I bet.
That's right.
So what happens is, if I do a lot of ripping and runs, it'll put like paper cuts in that.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And what happens is the vibration of the strings, it'll spray. So after 4 songs, I gotta pull all the strings off my, if I'm playing the electric or whatever, I gotta pull, all the strings off and then clean it all back up because it's not bleeding bad, but it sprays blood everywhere.
That's crazy.
From the
That
vibration of the
is
strings.
wild, man. You need to get those Tony Iommi things he used to have on his fingertips from where.
Actually, believe it or not,
Oh.
what I found, super glue. Put a little bit of super glue on there before I play and let it dry, and I'm good.
Yeah, right. That's
Did-
another good one.
He said that German coochie is what?
Guten tight.
Oh my God.
You know what you
I'm
call?
sorry, Mom.
Hey.
I didn't write any of this.
You know what you call a constipated German? Far from pooping.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I'm cringing for you, Mother. I'm sorry.
Hey, we're keeping it pretty
I know it's not.
soft.
That's pretty heavy.
I know.
It's
But
a lot
that's
of-
you got to think though. That's
It's
we're on a
crockery. It's
Well-
crockery.
This is 5 episodes in, you
That's
know.
a crock.
You think that's
And
bad?
I pay
crock.
for it all. I don't know why, but
'Cause you're a
nobody
good
ever
guy.
brings quarters.
You're a good
Hey,
guy.
did you guys see online about the nun that got pregnant?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, she dressed up like an altar boy for Halloween.
Oh man. Ouch. I think we've hit them all just. I don't have anything left.
Hey, look, I went to Catholic school and St. Francis de
Right.
Sales on Manchester Road,
Okay.
and I'll tell you what, it was way more wilder in that Catholic private school than it was in any
Oh, I
public
bet.
school I ever went.
I bet
Right.
it
And
was.
why was that? What allowed that to be? Because I've heard
It wasn't
that more
that it
than
was
once.
allowed; it was just what we did
Right.
because
You guys just got away with
it's
murder
so
there?
well. It was so strict that you get in trouble for everything. I mean, you don't do it blatantly to get caught. You know what I mean? But the kids were just way wilder than at the public school.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I heard that from my first wife. Said something real similar.
What was
Well,
you
I'm-
saying? You're spent. You're done. What do you mean?
No,
No,
that's the same.
I said I didn't have anything else to add.
Ah,
It's like them Amish girls.
Amish.
Yeah, you get them out of. They'll go in them bars and go in the bathrooms and
Rumspringa.
change. Yep. They be on some shit. there,
That's
boy.
right. That's right.
That's you head to Amish town when you want to get them Romspringer.
Yeah,
Boy, it's
Rumspringa.
on.
Rumspringa.
It's on, boy.
Don't look at me like that when you say that. You know.
Well, you know it's been a while. You know you're freshly free, so you
that's
keep
right.
forgetting that. You know
I
what I mean?
know. I am.
It's not even
Hey.
in your mind. This guy still thinks he's married and living in
Right.
the same house. He's
Right.
moved out. His
Right.
divorce is final.
Right.
Girls.
Right, right. And well, and you know,
Right.
I had this girl hit on me very blatantly the other day, and it wasn't until I walked out of the gas station and got in my vehicle that I was like, wait a minute. She basically just
Right.
asked you for your number, and I was thinking in that mindset, you know, like I don't
Mhm.
know, I completely turned that part off. 15 years we
Right.
were together, and just yesterday, you know, so I got to get used to that. I'm not that guy, man. You know, I'm
Mhm.
like I always look for that connection. You know what I
Sure.
mean? I always look for that special. Lady,
I look
you
for a
know?
connection too, boy. I'll
I'm
tell
waiting
you
for my
what.
soulmate anyway, man.
I'll tell you. If I never told you nothing, I'll
I'll tell you
what.
anything. I'll tell you what.
I'm waiting for my Lady Guinevere. Her king awaits.
Not if Tom strikes you
Maybe
down with
we'll
the
see
scepter.
about that.
Yeah,
Hear me?
right.
I
By
hear
the
it
time
go.
you strike you
Exactly.
down with a scepter.
Oh man. Okay, so like Hanna Barbera.
Oh,
How about
oh,
Flintstones?
leg cramp.
Any Flintstones? Can you do any of the Flintstones? Can you do Fred or Barney?
No, never really tried to do that.
No, we ain't really been angry people.
Right.
How about the Warner Brothers?
Hey man, I'm sorry. I
Were you
don't
into
swing that
Bugs?
way.
How
I
about
ain't-
Bugs? Bugs or
Bugs,
Daffy?
I'm
Daffy's
sorry.
pretty close to that. Can you do Daffy Duck?
No.
Or
But-
Donald? Even Donald Duck.
No.
I had to do that in a play. It was really awful. The kids loved it. I hated it. It was awful.
We was over at my sister's house, and the little nephew, it was my sister's grandkid, basic is what it is, and he's about 4 years old, getting ready to be 5 or something, and you know how they are with that age, and he's messing with Ed, and Ed's like, you know what? He goes, I know Santa Claus. He
I know
goes,
Santa Claus
"Now, I
watching
work
you."
with him in the off season. I do karate with him. I hold his boards. And he was looking at him like really? He goes, I'm watching
I
you.
got my eye on you. for
And he
Santa.
kept peeking around the corner and shit. It
Remember, he was over by the
hilarious.
TV and he started walking away and he went. I used to
That
use
shit
that all
was
the time when I was a guard.
I was cracking up. He said, I do karate with him.
That's right.
I got a
Sailors.
question for you.
What's that?
Stays in shape.
You know what smoking and eating pussy have in common?
What's that?
The closer you get to the end, the more they taste like shit.
Oh man. Oh, if that doesn't call in the censors, nothing will. Nothing will.
Yeah, I
Nothing
was trying to keep it
will.
cool. I was saying coochie.
Coochie.
He come right out with the kitty.
We need to have that bar like Larry. We need to have that sound effect one so Larry
Boink.
can just hit that. Yeah, the meow. We need to have the meow up there for that one, you know.
Or my little queef when that. I can't even
Oh
do it.
man.
My lips ain't wet enough.
I got dentures.
That's
I don't
what
even
she
try
said.
anymore.
I
That's what she said. That was a good one. My wife and I used to fight about
have to
that
get
all
up
the
in there and
time.
put that lip balm on it.
Right.
She'd say something really off like that, and I'd say that's what she said, and she'd get so upset. I'd say, but it's okay. We all know she's a slut.
Right.
She's supposed to say that. She doesn't care. She's one of those girls.
Yep, for sure. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us once again.
Hey, we are. We're at time. That's
Alright.
awesome. I
Well,
can't
thanks for
believe
having
it.
me
We
on,
made it.
guys.
Yep,
We came on
it
a
was
little
fun.
bit late today.
Yeah, we was a little late. We was having.
I'm really glad it
They were,
worked.
they were
Hey.
having testicle difficulties.
I don't know
Right.
what the hell's going on.
Well, hey, Johnny, thank you, Johnny.
Yep,
You came
Johnny.
in and
Yeah,
helped
Johnny
save the
Lightning
day
Saved
again.
everybody
again.
Johnny
Johnny.
Lightning, man, that's right. That's why he's a core member of the band. I'm gonna tell you what, he's
fixed
helped
it.
us out a lot.
The video freezes up for whatever reason.
We really are. We're taking
Nope.
interns. So if you're
Yeah,
a tech
anybody out
person,
there?
we need some help.
We need a lighting person.
We have some spots to
We
fill
need
if
a
you guys want to come in and
camera
play along.
people.
We have a good time in here. So think about it. Get a hold of us. Tom Dalo, D-A-L-O. Find him on
You
Facebook.
know where I'm at.
You can book your band through him too. 'Cause
Yeah,
he's,
come on, Chick Coop
come on.
Live.
And we have the voice of God here, the voice
Chicken
of
Coop
reason. He will keep it
Live.
all in
We
line.
should have had Larry and Mike here. He was working at different cameras there.
Right,
After
right.
he had a stone moment for the first hour. He was just sitting over there watching us laughing. Oh yeah, Johnny was sitting there too,
Right.
trying
Well, he
to
had
making
to
sure
be.
everything was going to run right and all that sort of thing. But yeah, don't forget, we don't want you. We wouldn't tell you to
Don't hit
like,
that bell, whatever
share,
you do.
subscribe, and all that type of
Like,
stuff.
share, subscribe. Tell your friends about it, your relatives, your
Yep.
neighbors.
Go
people
check
you
out
hate.
some of the bands on Chick Coop Live, and like I said, here in a couple weeks, we're gonna have Hold Your Truth.
There's another one you're forgetting we just talked about, I think, too.
Maybe.
We're going out, man, because people are starting to let us know. So let us know if you want to come on and do what everybody else is doing right now. Let Tom know.
All right.
And just remember, Sudafed's a bad,
Peace.
All right, everybody.
Peace.
Don't forget to rock out with your cock out. Have a good one, y'all.
Nighty night.
Later.
Hey.